So, welcome to episode 6 of the Go Ivy or Go Free podcast. I'm here with Youssef Hasweh. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, phenomenal. Okay, so Youssef is a expert on scholarships, and one of the most important things I always talk about in this podcast is how disgustingly expensive college has become.
Right.
It's become like a literal albatross. I think we're selling kids to the salt mines at this point. And what's really amazing is that and I was talking with Youssef about this before. I mean, billions of dollars in scholarships go unclaimed each year.
Yeah.
And one of the amazing things you can do if you actually know about it is maybe get some of that and not go into debt.
Yes.
So,
fingers crossed, not going to debt.
So I'm going to talk about that, a bunch of other things with your experiences in college too, and get to know you a little bit better today. So thank you so much for coming out here.
Bro, thank you for having me. I've been really hyped to teach the kids how to go free or not go to an Ivy League at all, like my boy Andreas did, which is crazy.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I was lucky, so I got to get in first, so I have the street cred, and then like turn it down because it's funny because like most of the value of the degree, I think people underestimate this. Like most of the value of the degree is in the admissions process. That's what I try to tell people. It's like once 100%. You get into these schools, like Mark Zuckerberg dropped out, right? Bill Gates dropped out, right? They all drop out. Why are they dropping out?
Yeah.
Right? It's because like really the part they really cared about was just making sure they made it in the first place.
Wait, so which ones did you say no to? No to UPenn, no to Brown,
and Cornell.
And Cornell. Just casually.
Yeah, it was an interesting process for me. It was crazy because like with a bunch of them. So with Cornell, I originally committed to go there, and I really.
Oh wow! Out of the three, you chose the worst. No play.
So can I tell you my story with Cornell was really special. So I started doing physics research at Brookhaven, Brookhaven National Lab when I was 14. And I got a lot of really cool stuff done with that. And what was amazing was that I was part of this research group that was, a thing called the Muon G-2 collaboration. And what we were doing was we were basically trying to figure out a cheaper version of a particle accelerator that could measure long story short,
just casually.
I mean, it was a cool project. And so we got to work on this stuff where we were trying to measure like these particles that are like out there. And long story short, I was part of the same research group as the chair of the physics department at Cornell. Wow. And so when I applied, I went and I met him and like we were hanging out and he's like, shoot, I want you to come work in my lab. He was a wonderful guy, Professor Jim Alexander. I don't know.
Shout out.
Yeah, 100%. He's a great guy. I don't know if he still works there, but he wrote me this phenomenal letter of recommendation and it helped me get into a bunch of colleges, and especially for Cornell, like because he wanted me to come work directly in his lab under him that year, and I was like, bet.
Casually just being 14, working with the chair of the physics department at Cornell, it's just. Well, as one does when they're 14.
It was a wonderful opportunity. Like I'm blessed that I grew up on Long Island because I had a chance to do this sort of thing.
Said no one ever. I'm blessed I grew up on Long Island. Said no one ever.
Bro, you're gonna get so much hate for that.
I'm Brooklyn born and raised.
Yeah, I know the Brooklyn's coming out. You're just trying to start shit.
The Jersey, the Long Island of it all.
I don't blame you. I left Long Island for the same reason. But like a lot of great people come out of there.
I agree.
And but what was great was that I had that chance, and so originally I wanted to go there, but they wanted me to go $300,000 into debt to attend there, and my parents didn't make a lot of money. It's not we're not like we were barely middle class at the time. Our income was actually pretty low. We were on food stamps like the year before I applied to college. So it's like okay. Like how do you expect me to just like fork up all this money? We don't have any money. And it was very disappointing for me because I'd worked so hard the whole time I was in high school. But I was very lucky at the same time. My research mentor was also friends with the director of financial aid for Stony Brook. And so I, went there and I took my Ivy League acceptances and I negotiated with them and I got them to give me a full tuition scholarship. And thank God, because I sidestepped all the debt. And I was like, I actually have something, really special. And that's why I tell people go Ivy or go free, because if you're going to turn down these schools,
you better be going free. Yeah.
Maybe. But I want to hear about you, man. Okay. Let's start with your background first. Yeah. So, I mean, like, where'd you grow up?
Born and raised Brooklyn.
Okay.
Went to high school in Brooklyn, middle school, elementary.
Which high school?
Fort Hamilton High School. Shout out.
I love it.
We have some things in the works actually with that school. We might be doing a few keynotes. But
that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. A very huge public school, 5,000 students.
Right.
Chicago was only 7,000, so it wasn't as big of a difference, which was insane. But definitely the culture and the people were significantly different.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and then ended up at UChicago with a full ride, QuestBridge Match. This was circa like December 2019.
And that's such a blessing too.
Oh yeah, yeah. We can chat about that because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't be as smart to turn down. No one wants to say they turn down an Ivy. No one wants to get into these schools, work so hard to get in, and then just end up not going.
100%.
Especially like for financial reasons. So like,
well,
good on you.
QuestBridge makes it easier, right? Because you actually get in the first place, and you know it's going to be.
They make it easier, but it's so competitive and selective. I think my class was only 80 students of like 20,000 finalists.
Sorry, why don't we talk about that for a second? So if we could, why don't you tell me a little bit about what QuestBridge is and what your experience was like applying to it?
I'm just saying it very casually. QuestBridge is a full ride matching scholarship program.
Yeah.
So essentially, they have a program for juniors, high school juniors, college prep scholars to kind of like gear them up for college admissions. And then the physical scholarship, it's very unique because it's in this bucket of like QuestBridge and Posse where you can actually get money and be admitted into these schools. And you don't see that often, especially with good schools. Right. So it's extremely competitive. However, you apply for just the scholarship. One thing, and I say this a lot because I don't think QuestBridge makes sense for a lot of low-income students. Is a low-income
it really doesn't. Okay, I'm really happy you say that because that's the advice I get. I get in so much trouble for saying this nonsense.
But I tell people not to do the ranking. Yeah, right. Yeah. Let's get into that. No, for real.
Well, why do you think it is? Tell me first.
Okay, and this is actually I've never admitted this online, so this is an exclusive.
It's a perfect time to do it. Okay, I'm gonna, if we're gonna piss people off in education space, this is the place to do it. So
finally, people are saying this.
Let it rip.
But QuestBridge itself is you think you're applying for the scholarship. It's a super long application. You think you're applying for the scholarship, not for the colleges.
Yes.
And it is that application that gets used and sent to all of these different Harvards, Ivy Leagues,
100%.
elite institutions.
And it can shoot you in the foot sometimes.
All the time, because I spent months on my college application, but like all my scholarship applications, I tell people apply early and apply ASAP. I was applying like the night before. I started my QuestBridge app the day before the deadline. Yeah, I started my QuestBridge app the day before the deadline.
Oh, that's wild.
And that's essentially doing your entire college application in one day, even though I spent months on my college application. I didn't have the hindsight or like the onus to like figure out that it was the physical college application that these schools would be getting. I thought this was just for me to become a finalist. And I would have the chance to
you don't. It's one shot.
You don't have the chance.
And like on top of that too, I think like for a lot of people, especially if you're low income, the thing that I think people misunderstand about low income students is that a lot of them are smart, right? A lot of them are
many of them,
and not just smart. Like a lot of them are very smart, and a lot of them actually have stats that are competitive with students with much more resources. Like that was my situation, 100%. Where like my family was like, we were in a really tough spot when I was in high school. And on paper, I outcompeted most of the kids.
Almost a perfect SAT score. Yeah,
all that stuff. And so for me, going to a program like QuestBridge really would have just limited me because, what I would find out about the one college I got into, perhaps.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have my other options.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is, what I tell students is, I guess, is a different angle on that, which I agree with you about the scheduling thing. But what I tell them is like, okay, if you are a low-income student
and you're already competitive, and you might have better odds just going at it alone. 100%. Well, I'll say that all not to deter people from QuestBridge, but to have them actually apply, get the distinction, become a finalist, and then choose the non-ranking option.
Yes.
So you can do whatever you want in your college process, early decision, early action. We could talk about if ED even makes sense for people. Regular decision.
Well, ED is a scam for other reasons.
Let's talk about that. I do agree with this. I do think it's it's more of a business play. It's more of just like trying to get yield rate. It's like if you play your cards right, ED could be a one-way ticket to whatever school you want.
It's not legal.
It could just be a waste of time. It definitely isn't. I had friends that got into UChicago and it was only on the condition of an admissions rep calling them and being like, I will take you off the wait list if you tell me you're going to UChicago today.
Yep.
And it's like
all the time.
You're supposed to get the offer and then make a decision. No, they pressure you to go to these schools and to help out their yield rate. Like the minute you get it, you're going to say yes.
Yep.
Just to look more competitive. It's sick. It's sick. It's all business.
And they pressure you to switch too. So one of my clients, this happened to him this year actually. So he applied to UChicago actually EA, and they called him up and told him, hey, just so you know, like we're gonna put something in your favor, but only if you switch your EA to ED. Right?
Yeah.
Only
if you do that.
And they lock you in. And then what happens is, at the same time, they get to dictate your financial aid after the fact.
Oh, 100%.
And so once they have
so you're already saying yes. You're like, and they could just F you over like at the end of the day.
They often do. They often
And they do.
And what's crazy too, this is the funny part. The contract's not even binding. You know that?
For early decision.
Yeah.
I know that there's some like loophole for financial reasons, like you don't have to go to school.
No,
Is the
it's
whole
not
thing
binding. The whole thing's not binding. So
Wow.
there's a huge lawsuit going on right now. 36
Wow.
colleges, including most of the Ivies, are being sued for this literally right now. And mind you, that's actually a few years back. For example, a lot of the Ivies switched away from ED to REA contracts,
Yeah.
right? And the reason why they switched over to REA is because they knew that they were going to get sued for the ED stuff, right? So here's why.
Wow.
So if you talk to a lawyer, they'll explain this to you. But like when you write a contract, there's actually a piece of contract law called consideration. And what it means is that if you sign a contract, you need to have some kind of exchange in the contract. You can't just say, okay, like here's a contract. You agree to pay me $1,000. I agree to smile. Right.
Right.
Like it has to be like, I give you something and you give me something. Otherwise, it's not a legally binding contract, no matter what you say. It doesn't bind you to anything.
Wow.
Now here's the thing about
students, listen up.
Now, here's the crazy part about ED. So an ED contract binds you supposedly to attend that college. What do they give you in return?
The agreement that you pay us. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But now people delude themselves. And whenever I say this, I've said this a few times, social media, it's gone viral a couple of times. And I try to explain this to people and they get confused and they say, oh, well, they guarantee you a higher acceptance rate. No, they don't.
Right.
They
Right.
Yeah, maybe that's an effect that you notice.
Yeah. They don't guarantee anything.
Nothing. There's no consideration. So
There's no consideration.
It's not even a contract in the first place. It's literally not. Forget binding. It's not a contract.
Right.
It literally, it can't be.
Yeah.
In U.S. law, you can't enforce that if you tried. If you try going in front of a judge, good luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No
And yeah, it's like almost a scare tactic. They scare students into you can't apply to any other school ED or even restrictive early action. I mean, like you're just applying early and only to that school, the Princetons, the Yales.
Well, and that's different because the restrictive early action is more of like an elective choice on the college's part about like who they accept as applicants, right? It's different because it's not like a post decision thing, right? So the colleges like in REA will say like, okay, we will only let you apply if you are only applying to us among this group of colleges that we pre-agreed to. And so it's more of like an admissions policy thing as opposed to like a contract that you're signing.
Yeah, because they're not guaranteeing anything.
Right, exactly. And so, which is fine, right? And like legally speaking, like that actually works, right?
Abolish ED, abolish early decision.
Like honestly though, because like why are they so hard up about it? I mean, like honestly, like, you really need to lock people in that bad? Like you're telling me like your school is
you're just yield rate is so important to you that you need to get half of your class in early decision.
Well, they're worried because the thing is, if they don't have that, then their acceptance rates have to skyrocket. You know that.
Yeah.
See, and then what happens is, well, then their ranking drops.
Right. Of course.
Like,
God forbid the ranking drops.
Right. And we can't be this elite institution if we already had the ranking drop. And
so that's why we're going to lie about teacher-student ratios and...
Exactly, right? Well, they have to game a bunch of stuff for that. A lot of colleges are doing that. But back to the QuestBridge thing, like I want to make sure we finish that point because it's really important. There are cases, I mean, if you are in a tough situation as a lower income student, let's say maybe some of your stats are missing, you need a little extra consideration. I love QuestBridge for that because for those kids, I think it makes a massive difference 100%. In bridging that gap and having the colleges like know 100%. In advance, like, okay, this might be a non-traditional situation. Yeah. We should look out for this, have a little leniency.
100%. I think as a process, it is definitely an option.
Yeah.
I think as a gamification, it makes sense for some students. And I don't talk about this that often, but like this entire college admission cycle, it's all politics. It's all a game. It's completely a business. I mean, I kind of bet, and this is just talking from personal experience, I kind of bet me getting into Chicago because of like the way I interacted with the college admissions counselors. I figured out who reads in Brooklyn.
Well, that's
who was reading my application.
That's so smart.
Yeah, and I found every college fair they were going to, got into a program at Chicago, met her, told her, hey, I'm going to be in Chicago.
Before you applied?
Yeah. It was called the Young Leaders Summit. It was by the Bank Scholarship Fund.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was like the top 200 first-gen students in the country flown out to Chicago.
I love that.
And it was like a scholarship, like college admissions boot camp, and now I'm a scholarship creator. But yeah, I found out exactly who she was, and I was like, bro, Chicago's my dream school. If you like play your cards right, like just get and these schools say they don't track demonstrate interest. They don't track these things. That's like a complete lie because it's
Yeah.
like it's almost informal.
Right.
It's insane.
Well, it depends on the level that you're playing at, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't track
Like tours or
right.
like
Yeah, but that's what people think.
info sessions. No.
Okay, no, Youssef, you will not believe the thousands. I'm not saying thousands of hate comments I got because I told people no one is tracking whose emails you open. No one's tracking the emails.
They don't care.
No,
they do not care.
No, because there were like multiple. I'm not going to call them out by name. I'm trying to be nice for once. Okay, I probably should. So you know who you are. Okay, there were viral admissions creators that were like going out there saying like, you better open every college email.
Yeah, no, that is like one of the most. It's the most like time consuming like. Most irrelevant piece of advice ever.
So delusional.
I worked in admissions at U Chicago. They do not care. It's the students that are managing the emails, managing the tours, the info sessions. Like, they're not.
And then they only see like macro scale data on the emails, and they're running like literally large scale marketing strategies. If you know anything about how email marketing works, you will look at that and say like they do not have like an individual fingerprinted profile. They're not the NSA.
And suddenly this is the most important thing for you to get admitted into a four-year institution and give us all your money. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Literally.
But students want to find these pinpoints where they feel like they can get in with the school, and I do think QuestBridge allows that because
which is awesome.
With all of these college partners, they have their own QuestBridge college reps. So typically it's just one of the main readers from in the admissions office. I was lucky enough that the person that was the Brooklyn reader was also the QuestBridge like head of contact.
Oh, that's awesome.
At Chicago. So I was like, I'm already building this rapport, building this relationship. You know my face before my name even touches your desk.
That's huge. And
now you're going to be reading my application either way, like in two different ways. and both of them potentially might be binding. U Chicago was my dream school at the time.
Right.
So like it was such an easy way of like, again, these schools only care about yield rate. And if I'm showing up all the time, I'm fairly like decently competitive.
Right.
And like suddenly I'm like telling you this is my dream school and I'm showing you that it is because I'm flying out there.
Exactly.
They know I'm going to go if I get accepted, even though it's a binding process. So
100%.
yeah, like it was 80 students out of like 20,000 finalists.
I love it.
That got matched to Chicago with the full ride. And
yeah,
we'll talk about what happened after I renegotiated the financial aid package. Like the world wasn't going to stop me. And
why don't you walk me through that?
Yeah.
So you get into U Chicago, and then what?
You cry, you laugh,
of course,
and then you renegotiate your financial aid package, like almost immediately. I mean, when I tell you when I got my package, it literally said negative 0.01. So my balance was a negative penny. So they owed me a penny.
Okay,
to go to Chicago. A full penny. I was upset. I actually was upset, and I was like, okay, like. Great, I got a full ride. Cost of attendance is not just tuition, dorms.
You have to actually live when you get there.
Yeah, you actually have to live there. I have a rampant social life, and I was not going to let that die out in Chicago. Flights to Chicago, my Ubers, things like that. Like, I realized that, I have a bit of a play here.
Okay.
So, U Chicago gave me this balance of we owe you a penny to go to our school. And I immediately negotiated. I got a full ride to Chicago, and I immediately negotiated the financial aid package to get even more money.
I love that.
Yeah, so we talked a lot, and at the same time, I was getting outside scholarships directly to me.
That's awesome.
I had two different $20,000 scholarships, and they were giving me like, what's the math on that? $5,000 per year.
That's pretty good.
That went straight to me for two different sources. So that was already $10K, and then I still negotiated with. They didn't know about the scholarships. I still negotiated with U Chicago. And then I ended up getting like around $6K from them, so like $2K per quarter. I said I needed like a laptop and things, and I was very strict on the negotiation process. Yeah. And then by the time I graduated, I was getting up to, I think the most I got was 7,000 in one quarter. But typically it was around like 5K, 6K per quarter that I was at U Chicago.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, I was getting paid to go to U Chicago.
Thank God, man. Yeah.
And kids can do this. Like I already had a full ride. Imagine like not having a full ride.
Yeah, you could probably do a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think people underestimate that when you're going to one of these schools, like they actually do want you to attend,
100%.
right? And a lot of the time they'll have endowments. I wonder, and I'm curious to get your take on this, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's still going to be just as easy this year? Because like they're facing a lot of financial problems, right?
Yes.
So tell me,
it's true. I mean, like full like grants are being cut, full like departments are being cut just for like having certain language that like the administration isn't the most fond of.
Yeah.
And it's oftentimes
like, for better or worse though. I mean, we're talking about like multi-billion-dollar deficits. Like it's huge.
Yeah. I mean, these endowments are not like, it's not kid money. Like
no, but the endowments are tiny actually.
They're still in the billions.
No, but they don't pay out at once. So this is the
Yeah.
part that I think people like underestimate with this. Like if you like people look at Harvard's endowment, they say it's 50 billion. It's not actually. That's a lie, believe it or not. So Harvard marked their endowment back in 2021. The finance nerds are going to appreciate this. Like when in low interest rates, your valuation on your endowment, because it's an asset class of like basically like companies. So Harvard doesn't have their endowment as like a piggy bank. It's literally it's
don't
real
access to
estate
all of it.
investments in companies and a lot of venture
100%.
capital. It's like 40% venture capital.
Yeah.
So they marked all the value of their investments back in 2021. That's the number they keep using today. So it's a lie. The
But
actual
that's not all the money they have to play.
no, they mark it as 50 billion. It's actually 20.
Wow.
And of the 20, they only get typically around 3 or 4% of that available to them per year.
Yeah.
So, and again, that still sounds like a lot of money, right? We're talking about like, on 20 billion, that's like a little bit under $1 billion that they get every year from the endowment, except their expenses are 6 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're actually losing money. A lot of these schools are actually like losing a lot of money.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Chicago was like in like 20 mil in debt or something like that, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
But like for 1 year, so like operations and like everyone they hired and everything costs more than how much they were getting that 1 year. And you think that, they have all this entire endowment.
Harvard took 8 billion in debt.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 8 billion in debt.
That's crazy.
And so that's what I'm saying. So like going back to this with the scholarships, I mean, how do you think that that's going to affect in the coming years?
I mean, some scholarship programs are already getting cut. They have to change a lot of their language, the people they can admit.
Right.
And obviously, like, for some students, that's better. Like, there's more opportunities. And for some, like, there's a lot less. But I think these schools are being a lot more tight with the money that they have, and a lot of their cards are to their chest now. And also it's kind of blown up now that you can renegotiate financial aid package. It was a lot easier because no one knew that.
Yeah, back in the day.
Bring all your offers and be like, yo, give me a full ride for me to come, and kind of hack the system and play
Which
the
was
game
a great
back.
deal back in then. You couldn't do that to Stony Brook today. And the problem is like
You can't.
not at all. Like and the thing is like it works way better with colleges that are lower ranked too. That's why I tell people it's like if you're gonna go renegotiate 100%. An offer like that, 100%. Like what you want to do is you want to get into a school like Chicago, for example, and say, oh, okay, let me go to some other school, and that's a way smaller school. I go like I don't know, like Hamilton or something. I'm just picking a college.
I love Hamilton. I went to their fly, and I love Hamilton.
Yeah, it's a great school. Yeah, but like you pick a school that's like significantly lower ranked than whatever the first one is that you got into, and that's where you go and you say, okay, now I have something you want. Right? You guys want to increase your profile. You want really good students to come here.
100%.
Okay, what can you do for me?
Yeah,
and that
100%.
works.
And these schools, I think we forget. I mean, of course, we see the rates and we see all these different things, but these schools want you. These schools like really do want a good class, and they do want students that they care about. I mean, schools are doing fly-ins. Like I was flown out to like 10 different schools like before, just as a prospective student, and that's a good marker of like admissions. Like,
that helps a lot too.
Potentially, and that's the whole different.
Well, tell me about that because I think a lot of people don't even know about fly-in programs.
Yeah, people don't know that colleges will pay for you to visit their schools for free, all expenses paid. So I went to Pomona, I went to Pittsburgh. My first time on a plane was the conference at UChicago. Like the first time I ever went on a plane was to go to my alma mater. But now like. And then my second time, my third time, up to 10, my first time just ever traveling were these schools that just like wanted a certain type of student. So a lot of them were like low income weekends, first gen weekends, diversity weekends. And I got to go everywhere. I went to GW, I went to Hamilton, I went to Carleton, Pomona, and Pittsburgh, which is funny because my cousin went to Claremont McKenna. So I was just like, we were going around the consortium.
I love it.
Chicago, of course, Swarthmore, got into a bunch of the Boston ones. I forget their names. What's that one? The bar school. It's fine. I actually this is a funny story. I was very active in high school, and not physically active. I was never that. No, I'm playing. But I never like really missed school because I just had a lot to do. And suddenly I was getting all these offers from. I was like, I felt like the schools wanted me. I was getting all these offers, and then sometimes I had like 3 fly-ins on a weekend, and then I had to decide.
Right.
And I ended up missing like 10 days of school within like 2 months. And at this point, I like never been absent. And then I got a letter that said if I missed like 2 more unexcused days.
You're going to send a truant officer after you?
they were going to beat me up 100. No, but I would have to like I would have to fail. Like they couldn't.
Really?
Yeah, they couldn't let me pass or something like that. Like
that's
it's like
crazy.
a marker in New York. You can't miss a certain amount of days. And I was like, I still have like 2 months to go. Like, God forbid I get sick. And I still have some flights I
Oh
want to
my
go
God.
to.
Oh my
So
God.
that I'm out there in the college office. I'm like, these are not unexcused. Like,
No, literally.
Pomona wants me. I'm going to Pomona. I don't care about Hamilton. They don't care. They don't care. They're like, well, you're not going to any school when you don't pass our classes. And I was like, yeah, I was like just being a brat.
But can I tell you though, like that's valid, especially if you're keeping up with your grades at least.
Yeah,
When I was a senior, I had the same thing happen to me. Like,
no way.
yeah, so I was working at Brookhaven at that point. I was doing physics research, and I was going to competitions nonstop. We were flying all around the country. So I was doing, business. I was in DECA. I was pretty high level with that, and I was in a bunch of other competitions. And so I was missing school nonstop for all the competitions. And I think that year I had close to like 50 absences in like
Jesus.
Yes, like every other day pretty much I was out of school.
Oh
right?
my God.
Now granted, like I had
those
like
were like school trips, so
it was like mostly school sanctioned stuff.
Yeah.
But so and like part of it was like me just like going to the lab. I had like perfect scores in my classes. At some point, like my principal like pulled me into the office, like, like legally, technically, we can't let you graduate. I'm like, dude, do you really want me here another year?
I should have said that. That's a good point. Do you want me here another year?
Like you don't want me around. I know I don't want to be around. Like I'm doing well in the classes anyway. I'm not missing anything.
Right. That's also sick. Just like you doing better than students who are there every day.
I had a 98 average. Like so, I just told him, I'm like, look, I'm gonna come in at least one day a week. And I'll do my tests.
Dude, that's you negotiating with your principal. Hey, I'll come to school one day a week, and you'll let me just not show up 4 days.
And no, I told him like
I'll do the best.
If I get less than 95 on any of my exams, then I'll cut it out, and like we'll have a problem, whatever.
Guys, all that to say, renegotiate your financial aid, renegotiate your schedule at high school, renegotiate everything. That's insane. That's so funny.
I firmly believe, and like that's why I love programs. Like we had Joe Lemont from Alpha School here on the last podcast, and I love what they're doing because I don't think people need to be spending that much time in high school.
Like, I don't think so
all.
Either.
Like if it was up to me, like I would be doing maybe like a handful of hours a day, just get my academics out of the way, and then like just go do other stuff. Start your life, man. Like start a business, start something else. It makes more sense. I want to go back to your story though. So we talked about UChicago. You renegotiated the financial aid.
Yes,
okay, so you're getting the scholarships. Where does this start turning into you helping other people?
That's such a good question. I mean, the scholarships never ended. I mean, the last scholarship I won was a college scholarship like 3 months after graduation.
Nice.
Just the timeline was they awarded it after. So like I never stopped like applying to scholarships, even with how much they were giving me. But I posted a video online saying like at some point that I got a full ride to Chicago, and that wasn't even like the main hero piece of the video. That's just what everyone cared about. So all the comments were like, "How'd you do that? What do you mean?
Like how do I get a full
dream
ride?
School?" Yeah. So I just like started answering questions, and it just kept taking off and taking off and taking off. And I say that people still have questions, and thank God I still have answers. That's why I'm still around. But I know when my day will come. But and then like suddenly I was 21 with 6 scholarships in my name. I got to found my own scholarship programs, give money back to my community. Like I was building this group that started out as like these really confused high school juniors, sophomores, seniors that didn't know much about the process, and I was just breaking it down in a way they could understand, because I do formally believe that like social media is its own language, and if you can meet people where they're at, even if it's educational, it can be very impactful. Like it's given me some of like the most validation and like worth to like a lot of the work that I do is just helping these students, and now it's evolved to college essays and renegotiating financial aid packages with them, making them personalized scholarship databases. But oftentimes I feel like just telling my story is more impactful than anything, so that they know they're not alone.
Because it gives them hope, because I think a lot of people will like look at a situation like that. Like I remember being like that when I was in high school and looking at these colleges and saying like, well, first off, I don't even know if I can get in the first place. And if I did get in, like, I don't know who's paying that. Right. $100,000 a year at the time felt like totally impossible to me. Like,
it still is. Like it still is in some capacities.
Well, and it's also like it's a tough situation because the colleges, I think, also misrepresent their own process a lot, and so you'll have admissions officers going out and saying things like, oh, we're need blind. We don't care at all what your family makes.
That's just not true.
It's not even close to being true. And anybody who works in this space who deals with this, you know it, and I know it, and we see it every day because, and I think you get to see, I think, a very special piece of this, because I get in trouble a lot for calling out the Ivies, especially for being like this, because they'll say, oh, we're need blind, but we also decide how much you need, right?
Right.
And it's like, you can't do both.
How can you determine that if you're need blind? Exactly.
Well, and it doesn't make any sense. And even if you do it like after you get in, because people will say to that, okay, well, they're need blind in admissions, just not in the financial aid, which, okay, then why isn't there, and I'm a serious question here. Like if I were designing a process and I wanted this to be fair, what I would do is I would have a third party agency, unaffiliated with the colleges, not funded by the colleges, so totally disconnected. I would have them do the reviews of the students, and we would have a very open source scale where we would all agree, and FAFSA, by the way, does this, which is actually kind of nice. The federal government does this. They have an open source scale.
One of the only FAFSA promo is one of the only positives of FAFSA. But
I mean, can I tell you, like, for what it is, like, it's cleaner than the other systems, right? Because at least that transparency you have to have for a federal system, where like you know what you're getting. Like maybe it's not as much as you'd want, but you do know what you're getting. Right, which is great. And so that's what I would do for the private colleges. I would have a third-party agency rate you. They would say, okay, this student needs this number, right? And then the college, if they want to claim to be need blind, and if they want to claim, and they do this a lot, to cover 100% of your demonstrated need, should have to cover that number. Not they make up their own number.
And that's what they'll cover. Yeah. Regardless, like, being a full need school should mean the FAFSA says you can contribute, you're in this index, you can contribute this much.
Right.
Whatever the cost of attendance is for that school, they should be covering everything else.
The whole thing.
That is full need.
Or don't say that you cover full need, which would be fine too. Right.
I hate when I get comments, they're like, no, this school's full need. It really isn't. It really isn't.
It isn't. And people, and they say you're making it up too. Like, I don't know, did you see that audio? This is, I went viral for this like 2 separate times, because I made like a voiceover of like that audio with Destiny and Candace Owens.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Where, like, I'm not, by the way, this is not me talking about politics, so just don't get mad at me about this. I'm just quoting what the audio is. Okay. And they're having a conversation, and like, you know, Candace Owens is like, you know, and you know, I got into college and my family was poor and we couldn't even afford college. And Destiny's like, well, what do you mean? How could you be poor? And like, they didn't like give you like your full cost. And I'm like, that is the most out of touch statement I've ever heard in my life. Like,
that's like insane. It's insane.
It's like there's people who are so privileged and delusional.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Can we talk about that?
Please.
Can we talk about that?
Go.
Oh, so like at Chicago, like they had a fancy scholarship name for all the poor kids, for all the low income students. It was called the Odyssey Scholarship. It literally just meant you were poor. Yeah. So a lot of people would be like, "Yeah, I'm an Odyssey scholar." It's just because we were in this low income bracket. But I met this girl week 1 of my freshman year, and I was like, I won. And not that I won. We were just talking. I forget how we got to it. Yeah. But we were talking about QuestBridge. I was like, yeah, an Odyssey scholar. And then she was like, oh, my like dad donates a lot to the Odyssey Scholarship. And then just like stared at me, like waiting for me to say thank you. Like, do you think your dad is paying for me to be here?
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah. I hate you, bro. Yeah, and then, well, I should have said thank you. Let me call up your dad, have him directly donate to an Odyssey scholar.
I mean, see, I'm a big fan of that, actually. Can I tell you? Because that happened with me. Yeah. So, you know, God rest his soul, Jim Simons directly donated the scholarship fund that funded my scholarship.
Wow.
And you know, when I went to Stony Brook, it came straight from his donation to the university. And I got a chance to meet him a couple of times because he was on campus. He gave talks. And I got a chance to thank him directly. And I got to say, like, that was actually a really, you know, beautiful experience for me, because I was very grateful to him for providing that, because I would have no way of going to college otherwise. So it was pretty cool. But, like, you know,
that's a lot more impactful. Like,
it is, as opposed to like, these anonymous funds where, like, the responsibility is all diffuse. And, like, was it actually even used for that? And how much of the money he donated actually went to the kids?
Right.
Like, how much of that really went to some admin salary? Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, for real. And, I mean, just like...
No, but the attitude, I can see why frustrated
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
record. I'm not trying to like.
No, that's so funny. No, that's so. It's just like the entitlement of some students, like genuinely thinking like it's so funny. But even like I was at Gates. I won a lot of scholarships. QuestBridge, Gates, Coca-Cola. I was finalist for those two, but I won QuestBridge. I won Dell. I won Burger King Scholars, APIA Scholars. So
Sick.
a lot of these really big national scholarships. And like how does one navigate like a college space being like a Gates scholar or a Gates scholarship finalist when Bill Gates'
it's a little
son,
bit alienating.
yeah, when Bill Gates' son goes to your school, like you're sitting next to the person who's like,
Well, I feel like him you should thank. You should at least have the other people, like, whatever. I'm just saying.
Yo, Roy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate Pops.
Like,
He's paying for both of us to be here.
It's a big deal. Okay. Pops is low key a baller. Okay, maybe he went to Epstein Island, whatever. But he also paid for your college.
Oh my god, I actually I didn't get to interact with him too much, but he would like walk around like private security, of course. I mean,
I don't blame him.
Had his own house in Hyde Park. I mean, like, imagine like a student just like.
Okay, well, low key, I kind of want security in Chicago too. It's not just him. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Did a kid get shot at U Chicago last year?
Numerous kids.
Yeah,
I had classmates that died. That never got to walk the stage.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's a lot. Our senior year, one of my friends was really close to this girl who like had to like stand off a gunman who was trying to like steal her stuff, and she like grabbed the clip and unclipped it. Yeah, and it went viral. But yeah, first off, that's a whole other thing to navigate.
Kind of badass. Like,
it was very badass. It was cool. I was like,
she
unlimited aura.
pulled the clip out of the gun.
Yeah, she like grabbed it and she like the whole thing. Yeah, and then chucked it. Okay. Yeah, while there was like this frat bro on the lawn, just
okay. A little bit. Just say. I don't know if that's like appropriate to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, that'd be tough as hell. That would be on like my.
It would be, right? It's kind of like it's how I introduce myself.
That'd be on my like LinkedIn head cover.
Like, don't F with me. Like, I stood up to some gangster in Chicago, right? It's a big deal. So okay, but like let's go back to this because I think the important point here is that there's a big misrepresentation going on between what the narrative is the colleges want to put out because it makes them look good. And, this is something I called out recently. This went viral, actually, because a bunch of the Ivies, and I want to hear your take on this, too. A bunch of the Ivies recently announced that they were going to give full financial aid, full rides to any family making under $200,000, actually.
Oh.
$200,000 with, according to them.
Was this full tuition or full...
They said it's unclear between the colleges. So they have a bunch of obfuscating language. You're used to that, I imagine, for all the reasons, because they want to give themselves latitude to do whatever the heck they want. But they're claiming basically full rides for all the kids. It's not 100% clear if that's just full tuition or like zero debt or like what exactly they mean by that, which is an important point. I'm glad you're asking that. I don't know. But that's what they're saying, and they got a bunch of headlines, and I'm sure they paid for the great press too, which people don't like to talk about. The newspapers are low key on the take, but 100%. Whatever. So they get all this, and like my first reaction to that was, well, wait a second. You're announcing an extremely generous scholarship policy in the same year that you just had the biggest budget cut in the history of your university.
Mm-hmm. How does one do that?
How does one do that exactly?
While being sustainable.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have an idea of why they do it, which is just a theory. My opinion. Can't sue me for that. My opinion, totally my opinion. I could be spitballing here, so call me a conspiracy theorist if you want. Yeah. But the way that, if I were in their shoes, I would balance the books. And I think, this would be a very smart Machiavellian tactic, would be to say, oh, okay, we're going to make a big, splash publicity-wise, saying we're giving full rides to everybody under $200K, so that nobody then starts questioning how many kids we accept from families making under $200K. Right? Want to know something funny? This is a crazy stat.
Yeah.
There are more students at Yale from the top 1% of income in the United States than the entire bottom 50% put together.
It's insane.
That's true across the Ivy League.
I mean, I'm not shocked.
It's probably true in Chicago too. I bet,
I'm not shocked.
And so what I imagine they're doing in this case is they're looking at that and they're saying, oh, okay,
we're going to give everyone full rides.
We're going to give a small number of people full rides so that nobody pays attention to the fact that the middle class is out. All the people who were there on partial scholarships, well, we don't need them, right? We can just reject all the middle class kids, and low key, we don't let them know. And the New York Times did an expose on this. You know that they hire consultants to help them guess the incomes of families before they apply.
That's insane. I mean, yeah, I'm not shocked. Like the way they
crazy.
operate is they need to know like literally everything.
And what is the minimum amount of financial aid you would take? So they hire the consultants. What the consultants do is they tell them, okay, where they look at a sales database, and people know all your financial information for every person in the world is in a publicly accessible, well, publicly, it's private sales databases you can pay to have access to. And there's people who make millions of dollars collecting all your information, and they buy it from the banks, so they know all your transactions. And so what they can do is they can go to the college and tell them, hey, this person, we have this mathematical model that suggests that they would accept a financial aid offer of like $45,000 a year.
Right.
And so what they say is, okay, that's the minimum you'd accept. Great.
That's what they're gonna get.
That's what you're getting.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like you're gonna get like murdered for saying these things. Yale will come for you.
I live in Florida, man. F around, find out if you want.
No, 1,000%. They're putting it on this zeitgeist and like kind of just wanting to be put on this pedestal that they're doing this as a favor. They're doing this for just like
they're so
more, and then more
so
students
virtuous.
like more, especially you know what they're using. I feel is oftentimes, and we can talk about this, but a lot of the comments I get when I post like scholarship content or college admissions content are students from the middle class saying, "What about us? Like we can't fully pay." And then a lot of low-income students get full
all the merit
rides.
scholarships.
Yeah. Many of them. It's insane. But now I'm seeing a little bit of a shift. Like it's going back from need to merit because of like
where do you see that? I'm
different
curious.
grants and stuff. So like a lot of like language around I don't want to get too political. A lot of language around like need-based scholarships oftentimes like just contains a lot of like DEI language.
Okay.
And just many orgs have federal funding and there's like this,
so they have to get rid of
money, all of it. So there's just like CBOs, like community-based organizations, and different nonprofits that launch scholarships as well and like support these types of students. Lost a lot of their funding. A lot of like TRIO programs got cut, and just for having like all of these different they're like annual reports or like whatever they need the money were put through these just like screeners to like make sure they were like applicable. And if they found like any of that language, they automatically got everything cut. Like there's a lot of trade programs that didn't even run this year.
Couldn't they just change the language and just make it like neutral for
100%? But it's difficult. Well, one, now they know that. So in the next process,
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. But also it's hard to explain. Like how do you do a need-based program or something where you're supporting first-gen students and without using any type of inclusive
well, you can
language.
say it's for people below a certain income level. I think they allow that, right?
Yeah.
You just can't say it's by a certain race, I think, or ethnicity, right?
You can't at all, or it's gonna get cut.
Yeah.
So,
well, which I mean, there's something to that.
Fair, and I understand a lot of the comments being like we're middle class, like how, or why do you guys even think like you deserve a lot of my videos?
Because I'm just being honest, because like there's I feel like there's people struggling from every possible background.
100%, 1,000%.
I don't view one kid from one background as being more needy.
1,000%. And then there's like a lot of lines in the sand drawn like with these certain just brackets because of that because like you know if you weren't making under 100K like you're not even eligible for a lot of these programs or like opportunities, and oftentimes like a lot of like middle class students see that and they get upset, rightfully so, because how are they just gonna get to pay to college? All of them are the ones that a lot of them are the ones that are in debt, but there's still a lot of low income students that don't end up at full need schools, don't end up with full rides, and don't end up with the ability to even like negotiate their financial aid. So they're crazy. Close. Like a lot of people are struggling right now, but you get these points by saying and being inclusive of the middle class under 200K, if that's even middle class now in America. But
well, because the inflation,
it probably is like the same.
The inflation blew that out.
Genuinely,
but I want to go back to this though, because that's a really important point. I think doesn't get addressed enough. I call this actually Ivy limbo. I created a name for this.
Tell me.
Which is like the group of people who are ostensibly middle class, where, you know, for whatever reason, I mean, like they're really bright kids, hardworking kids, they did all the right things. They get accepted to an Ivy League school and they can't go. Yeah. Right. And the thing is, like, you know, I'm going to throw some numbers out here and like people are going to come at me in the comments, I'm sure, but like whatever, you know, like let's say your family makes $200,000 a year and you're living in New York. Well, like I grew up in New York, a family making $200,000 a year. Like a lot of people from other parts of the country are going to freak out at this. You're going to say like, "Oh, you guys are doing great," and you're not doing great. You're living mostly paycheck to paycheck, and making that much in New York. It's just the cost of living.
100%.
It's not there's no luxury at that kind of household income, and especially if you have multiple siblings and stuff too, the expenses rack up. 100%. So like people are like, are you on the street with that? No. But like, there's a big space between that and then I can afford to pay $100,000 a year for college.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's no. That's the thing. Is income is like just putting it through fast forward. Like how much you make is not indicative of disposable income.
100%.
Like you need mouths to feed. You have and just one child's degree like shouldn't have to break a family.
Oh, you want to hear something crazy too? This is going to drive you nuts. We probably know about this already, I suppose. I mean, if you do a CSS profile, right? So there's two ways that people will like report their finances generally, right? So you have the FAFSA, which is for the federal aid, and that usually gets used by a lot of state schools. And then for private colleges, a lot of the time the CSS, which is just basically you reporting a lot of the same information that's on your tax returns, all your assets, and so forth. And they ask about a lot more things in the CSS than FAFSA does.
That one you only have to do once, though, right?
Yes, 100%. But what is crazy about the CSS profile is that the colleges will ask about things like 529 accounts. So for those of you who don't know, 529 is a tax advantaged account where you can save for your kids' education. I highly recommend if you're a parent listening, you get one of those. Makes a very big difference.
100%.
And, because the money can compound, right? So this exists in like an investment in the stock market over time. And so a lot of the time you can put in way less money than you would otherwise expect, and you still have a really great outcome in terms of being able to pay for college.
Yeah. But it's just for that. But
here's the crazy part.
CSS includes it.
Well, no. I mean, what happened? You probably know this already, but what happens when that goes in for financial aid?
It counts as income.
Yeah,
like that's insane.
It gets counted as an asset against you.
That's insane.
So
when the whole point of having a 529 is to support you.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's insane.
So basically, like imagine like you're a parent. Imagine we have like two cases, right?
Yeah.
We have two families. They're neighbors, right? And they both make a couple $100,000 a year, which again is a good amount for most states. In some states, not that crazy. If you're living in the Bay Area, $200K, you're not living great, okay? But you're okay, right? And let's say you scrimp and you save, and one of those families is putting aside, let's say $1,000 a month, whatever, for their kid, and they're 529. You save up, maybe $100,000, whatever, by the time they go to college, and you have that to help them pay for college. The private colleges especially will look at that 529 and say, oh, you have $100K. We're going to reduce your financial aid by $100K.
1,000%. 1,000%. It's insane.
So wait a second. So I could have just spent that money on myself this whole time,
and then still had to gotten even more money at the end of the day.
Why are we punishing people for saving?
It's insane. No, it's insane. I had a student I was counseling. He had essentially a full ride. Right. Midway through college, got hit by a car, sued, and got $20K. And he was like, "Oh, this will go straight towards tuition." Right. His financial aid package that within the, because they use the tax from the year before, the next year, the same package minus $20K.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
So he got hit by a car and the college just took the money from him.
Yeah, the money he made from the lawsuit went counted against him. Yeah, isn't that insane?
That should be a second lawsuit.
Is it?
That should be a second.
It should.
No, there's something very wrong about that.
No, it's obscene. It's obscene, especially because you nobody's life is linear, and to expect a family or just an individual to stay at the same level for 4 years just to guarantee that they have a certain amount is absolutely diabolical.
No, it's crazy.
Expecting students. Especially, you know what I think is the craziest part is you go to these institutions like UChicago or great liberal arts schools or Ivy Leagues, and the whole premise is they're trying to collect
the best
and the brightest, and want to support them throughout college to become that. Yeah. And they want them to do great things and launch these businesses and be successful. But God forbid that success starts a little early. God forbid that success starts a little early, and within your 4 years, your income changes. You will be paying out of pocket, all 100%. Of that money. And when I was renegotiating with Chicago, a huge problem occurred when I started online and I started to actually make my own money and make a decent amount of it, is it was being taxed, and then I had to contribute, even though essentially I was promised when I was a high school senior this is how I got out of it. I was promised this full ride. And
they already had an agreement.
Yeah, we had an agreement. So, and then I don't know how I still got money out of them through negotiation, but that's that's a documentary for another day. But yeah, like just the thought of wanting to penalize students for using your resources to become successful by, turning around and lowering the amount of money they give you. I don't know if you think that, like, if a school gives you a financial aid package, it should be locked in from freshman year to senior year, because I've heard that. But also on the flip side, like sometimes situations turn out the opposite way.
Well, I mean, I don't mind the colleges having the latitude to make whatever policy they want. My biggest problem is that they lie about it.
Oh, 100%.
It's my issue, because then you'll have people. This goes back to the whole Destiny Candace Owens thing.
Yeah.
Because they sell this narrative to mostly like upper middle class, hyper privileged, kids, so they can get into these schools. And really, this whole thing is to make those people, I think, not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the entire game here.
Yeah.
And there's marketing to those people who are their actual customers, right? And so they go to those people and they say, okay, we have this policy. We're the best. We're the kindest. We do all these things, right? And then that's how the university appears virtuous. In practice, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. I wouldn't mind universities innovating. I would want there to be maybe accountability, at least in the federal level, to go after these university officials and prosecute a few of them, I think,
100%,
for
100%.
straight up fraudulent statements.
Yeah.
Because, for example, like you can't say that you're need blinded admissions. Here's the biggest one, okay? They should not be allowed to say they're need blinded admissions if there is a checkbox on the application that says, will you be applying for financial aid, yes or no?
Right. Because that's being considered in your admissions as part of your application.
And like that's enough information. And this is the part I think people don't get. Because when you say to the college, I will not be applying for financial aid, what does that mean? That means I can pay $100,000 a year. I don't care. So they do have information about your income.
It's a business. Arguably, like they're looking to make money. Even with every court, they have to make a certain amount to even allow the court to run. So yes, there are these cases where it feels like it's completely need blind because there's students that are getting full rides just because of their financial aid situation.
Yeah.
But like that's not indicative of being completely need blind, because that doesn't make sense. Like
it doesn't make any sense.
What if your entire class, all the top performers are all low income students?
What if? And moreover, and here's the part that would be really more interesting to examine. Like let's look at the huge swath of a student population. What percentage of the top performers in the general population are from people who can afford to pay an Ivy League tuition?
Right.
I bet it's super tiny. Right. I bet you that, if we actually surveyed the whole group of humanity, what we'd find is that maybe like there is.
We should do that.
No, we're honest, we should. But maybe because if we looked at it, right, what we'd see is that like there is some relationship between how much money your family makes and your ability, right? There's genetic factors, socioeconomic factors, a lot of things that will give you an edge if you're coming from a good lineage of people who are already successful. So there are things that will promote it, but that effect size is not that big. So if they were actually admitting just based on talent, it wouldn't be like that we would have more people from the top 1% of these schools than the bottom 50. It would actually be way more even. And you know who does this? And I got to give them credit for this, MIT.
Really?
MIT is the only top school in the T20 where there is no admissions advantage because of your income.
Wow.
It's the only one.
Wow. I do think I read a case study about this.
No, the New York Times did a whole, so they had all these plots. If you guys are curious, I posted about this on my Instagram. But the New York Times did these plots where they compared the admit rate for students with the same SAT score. So they wanted to normalize it by their academics, right? Because you can't, obviously, people who perform better are going to have a better chance of getting in. But if you normalize for all the academics and all the other objective factors, what you find is that if you are below the bottom 40% of income, you actually have a boost. So you have about, roughly double the chance compared to the average student of getting in. And then, once you cross that threshold, it drops again. There's a dip. So between like the 40th percentile and like the 90th percentile, there's a huge dip.
That's insane.
And then once you cross the top 10% of income, shoots up like a rocket.
Wow.
Like a rocket.
Wow. People are saying that we're lying. Like, that's crazy.
It's nuts. It's nuts. And you look at that and you're like,
oh, MIT, it's what, like just
flat.
Yeah.
Flat. Like straight up. They're the only college, the only one where it's flat. Right. Coincidentally, the only college that refused to get rid of the SAT during all of this time of test optional.
I remember this. Wait, remind me. MIT is like that really, really small school that like no one knows anything about, right?
Yeah, it's like a little no-name school.
Is it like they do like art and stuff, right?
In Idaho, yeah.
Idaho?
Yeah.
I thought it was in like Wyoming.
Oh, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know who would go to MIT. I don't know why you're saying MIT. It's MIT, right?
Fit my hands. It's fine. Anyway, but yeah, no. So it's a crazy school, and I got to give them a lot of credit. I love what they've done there.
100%.
You know, I'm actually I corresponded a little bit with some of the admissions officers there. I was inspired, believe it or not, when I was even in high school by the MIT admissions blog. They had this article. It was titled "Apply Sideways." And it was really crazy. I actually got the guy who wrote the article, I think it was Chris Peterson, if I recall correctly.
Such a good memory. I couldn't.
Yeah. He and I, we emailed recently actually because like I posted something at MIT and like I think I got like one of the details off and he let me know. And so I went and I posted a correction and it was just really cool to interact with him because I'm like, oh shoot, like I read your article way back when. I remember you. Like,
that's insane. That's insane.
It was nuts. But anyway, all this is to say MIT is awesome. The rest of the colleges aren't doing that. So there's people who are, you know, legitimately will be low income people who really should be on scholarships, who, you know, at a need blind school, at a school that says they cover 100% of age should be covered and they're not being covered. And you know, that's what explains a lot of these situations. Talk to me about what you would do. Because like those are the people that I find that are in the toughest spot. Yeah. Like imagine you're like a middle class person where you're not getting that kind of sympathy from the college. 100%. You're probably not going to qualify for a Pell Grant. But
100%.
Low key, no way you're paying for college without crazy amounts of debt.
Yeah, no shot.
What would you do?
I mean, like, Andreas, I think you're a good example of what to do when being given this perspective of like, it's either I get to go to a school that I really want to, or I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life. Yeah. No student should be in debt for pursuing higher education. I don't believe that. I think that it's wrong. It's toxic. That people are spending the rest of their lives in debt for wanting to better themselves and their families. It's like absolutely sick. I mean, but specifically, if I was a high school student right now and I was sort of just like in the middle class and I was sort of comparing like my options right now and I wanted the opportunity to go to a school where I felt like it was just indicative of the degree I really wanted. But I'm staring at this financial aid package that is daunting, that would put me and my family in debt for the rest of our lives. Firstly, and we'll say this all the time, scholarships. You have to apply to scholarships actively. Where do you find them, and how do you know which ones are applicable to you? That's such a good question. So there are a lot of great websites. Obviously, if you want to find a scholarship, check out Youssef University. It's the best place to be. But no, I actually think there's a lot of great databases. I actually think one of the best databases online for scholarships specifically, I know we hate it, College Board. Really? College Board has such a good, it's like how I built out my own scholarship database. Nice. It has such a good database because you can filter like in like income, you can filter in like grade, the subject, like literally like some of the most like minute things. There's a scholarship for everything. That's awesome. There's a scholarship for if you have blue eyes. There's a scholarship if you're left-handed. Can I curse on this? A little bit, yeah, go for it. Dead, but there's a scholarship for being left-handed. No, it's sick. It's sick. And let's actually get into this because it enrages me. It enrages me. Please. There are scholarships for everyone. Of course, the ones that get the most publicity and the ones that are oftentimes framed as the most effective are for low-income students because they're just like full ride. Right, but sometimes you can get like these huge amounts. I mean, especially local scholarships. One would look at these websites that have good databases. If you're not doing an essay and a scholarship, don't do the application. If there's no essay, there's no meat, there's no actual consideration. We're looking for consideration. We're not looking for. And listen, I love a lot of these programs because I think they do decent work, like the niches and the bold.orgs. I think they're effective to a fault. Well, my problem with those, and you know, I think you and I talked about this before too, is that a lot of quote unquote scholarship programs are like low-key email marketing ploys. And so what they're doing is they're saying, okay, 100%. You know, here's $1,000. We'll give it to one of the people who applies. And you know, I love you. They collect, you know, thousands and thousands of emails. And what they're really doing is just trying to market you other services on the back end. 100%. Right? And they're just building a big email list. I think for some students that's easy to tell. It is essentially a giveaway. It is essentially a giveaway. If you want to be a part of the giveaway, do that. That's why I've worked with them, and there are a lot of scholarships on their sites. No, but the reason I'm saying is because anything that has like that kind of a structure is like the odds of you getting it is extremely low. So, like the expected value that you get out of that compared to like an essay scholarship where they're really taking the time to read through all of these. Like the number of people applying to those is going to be dramatically less because of all the friction. Right. So the odds of you getting the money is actually way better. Significantly better. It's everyone versus like a more niche group. What I will say is I do like that Bold.org as a platform has this section where like people can fund their own scholarships.
Well, that's
so
cool.
if you're really passionate about like being named Andreas and living in Boca Raton, like you can find like the five students that potentially like qualify and like
I love it.
get to hear their story, and you can build it as much as you want. So when I just want students to understand their options. I don't want to put them down too much, guys. Please still work with me. I love you so much. I'll play.
I'm not trying to put them down. But I think it's important to be transparent about like what the business model is here.
Guys,
because,
don't waste your time.
Like listen, and some of those, if you want to do it, like do it. They're going to spam your inbox, right? But that's what it is. That's the trade you're making, which is fine. Okay, but the essay scholarships. So you said where on College Board they define those? Where else?
College Board, scholarships.com.
Okay, that's great.
Scholarships 360. There are a lot of really good spaces. Youssef University. But the longer ones, the ones where there's criteria, the ones where just there's a timeline. It makes sense. Like less of these. Like if it's not being advertised to you like on your Instagram stories, it's probably a great scholarship.
See, that's what I tell people. See, I always tell my students, go for any like religious or ethnic groups you're a part
100%.
of. Those usually have associations.
Get as niche as you can. As
100%.
niche as you can. Your ethnicity, location, city,
and
grade.
And local credit unions.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them, and law firms that have their own
credit unions, doctors' offices.
100%.
Like you would be surprised.
100%.
The local ones are the best because
they all go to you,
and no one's competing.
Yeah,
they just write you a straight check. And you just go for it. It's like that's great.
No, it's insane.
Yeah.
I won like a $4,000 community scholarship, like community service scholarship from one of our local law firms.
That's awesome.
And it sent me a check.
No, I had the same thing. So when I applied to college, I mean, I had a bunch. So like, and I tell people this too, like, depending on who you are, right? Some scholarships are easier to get than others. Like I won the National Merit Scholarship too back when I was there.
You got like a perfect score in SEC.
Right. So I was really good in the PSAT and the SAT. And so like, thank God, I qualified for that. I was the only one in my school that qualified. And it was great. It was the best thing because they paid me. What was great was they gave me, I think, $2,500 a year. And then when I went to college, the college matched it, actually.
No way.
Yeah. So I ended up getting $20,000 for like one test I took
sick.
one day in 11th grade.
For real.
And I'm just like, that was the most profitable 3 hours of my life. I'm like, this is great.
20K in 3 hours, that's a good rate.
I'll take it, right?
Okay. But what would you say is like essentially the best way to win scholarships? Do you have some tactics?
I mean,
because I have a lot of opinions.
I tell people... So it depends on how big we're talking, right? So there are a lot of like little scholarships that you'll get the way you described through all these websites, which I love. And if you want to do that and through local community organizations, religious groups, ethnic groups, you'll collect a lot of those. A lot of the time that ends up being somewhat small change compared to the cost of your tuition, right? So like I think you mentioned like you got like almost like $100K from that, which is awesome, except that Chicago costs like $400K.
Right.
So it's like if Chicago hadn't given you their institutional scholarship,
it would be out $300K.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It still wouldn't be enough. And so what I tell people is, for better or worse, because most of the colleges, they used to have merit scholarships at these colleges, that, right? So like 10 years ago, like I applied to college.
A lot of these elite schools like eliminated these merit scholarships because everyone has merit. That's like the case I've been hearing.
And they say that. I don't believe that.
Nor do I.
I don't believe, like, if you can give a Nobel Prize to somebody, right, that means that like there's some people, like Nobel Prize means that they're competing against all the top scientists in the world. We still have a guy who's number one.
Right.
I feel like you could find a number one.
100%. But they just don't do it.
I think they have ideological reasons why they're not doing it, to be honest with you. There is a substantive difference between people who are applying to these colleges, and I think they don't want to admit, right? It's more of a philosophical thing with them, because like what they're trying to do, and there's some like value to this. I'm not trying to like totally like negate it. What I'm saying is that, but I feel like they should be more forthcoming with what the tactic is. The tactic, I think, is, and it's funny, the Harvard president said this in one of their introductory meetings a few years back. They had this meeting for all the incoming freshmen, and the title of the presentation was "Be Anything," like become anything. You're at Harvard, you can literally be anything, which is a really cool thing to tell kids, right? I feel like most kids should be told this, frankly, because like that's an opportunity you have outside of Harvard too. It's not just like the Harvard kids that can do that.
Right.
You can do this. You actually have more. If you're just born in America, you're already like kind of at the top of the heap in terms of like global opportunity for anything you want to do in your life. So like you should just be grateful for that just at the outset.
Yeah.
Right. And so people should be told like, hey, you're low key in in America, you actually could do anything, right?
100%.
And like
we aren't told that enough. You're so right.
we're not. But I think the extension of that is, well, they don't want to be honest, I think, about the talent distribution of their incoming class, right? Because they don't want to give like one kid the merit scholarship and say, oh, no, like you can do anything, but you can do anything better than the other people. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Right?
yes. There's definitely a social marker to merit scholarships,
100%.
especially when you're sharing the same, you're in the same cohort.
Yeah, because they're going to talk to each other, right? So I think.
Okay, but how do you think that's? I already know how it's different, but how do you think that's different than like a dean's list or something, or like a prize at the end of graduation?
Well, way more people,
student awards,
right? Exactly, but that's at the end. Right. And I don't think, and I'm with you on this, they're hypocrites, right? So they are philosophically inconsistent with this. Okay.
Well, what is new?
Yeah. Like I'm not trying to, and again, like I'm not saying they have a coherent system. I'm just saying that like that is, I think, their logic, right? They're going through this and they're saying, okay, we don't want to push these kids at the outset, at least, above the rest, so that they think, okay, well, these kids are actually the real smart ones, right? Meanwhile, if we're being honest, if you go to the schools, like, you'll tell me this. I think you'll probably confirm this. If you go to Chicago, you guys had, I guarantee that there was a top 1% at Chicago.
Oh, easily.
Right.
Easily.
Yeah. And people, I think, underestimate this, that like when you go to one of these schools, you think, oh, everybody's a genius.
That's not true. I mean, our like teams list used to be like a certain marker. I think it was like 3.75, and then just like everybody was there. So they changed it to like
they had to raise it.
Yeah, like top 10%. It wasn't like and even then it was like half. Yeah, but it was, there were markers, but there was a top 1%. And it was,
and it's a real issue because Harvard, for example, had to get rid of they're working on getting rid of their grade inflation now. People are getting super, bro. Can I tell you,
you can get A's at Harvard for anything,
for nothing.
No,
and
in Chicago we had grade deflation.
No, because you guys are hardcore. Right? That's why Chicago is where fun goes to die. You know?
Oh my! And fun did die. Andreas, fun did die.
It's different, right? And I feel for the kids at Cornell too, for the same reason, right? Because
my God,
they were like legit, and like Princeton even like deflated their grades for a while there too. And it matters because it meant that the people who got A's were special. Right. And like people underestimate this. They think, okay, like you get into one of these schools, like, oh, okay, everyone's going to be at the top of their game the whole time. No, they're not. Actually.
Oh, not at all.
In fact, those schools should be harder than the average college, because what's the point?
That's what you expect. That's what
you signed up for.
Yeah. No, literally, bro.
That's why you're there, right? So we have all that, and then you have these kids. I mean, in my comments, man, do you have any idea how many death threats I got when I started calling this out?
Oh my Jesus! Wait, okay, give me the best death threat you got in the most creative death threat.
Oh, the Northeastern kids tried to dox me.
Actually?
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
So I posted a video. And I was very mild at first, actually. This started a feud between me and Northeastern, right? But like, it was very mild at first. And I was like, why does Northeastern cost more than Harvard?
Let's unpack
Which
that.
I think is a valid question.
You're spending all this money for Northeastern.
It's $94,000 a year. Harvard's $86,000. Okay. Again, I don't think either one of them should cost that much. But like, okay, low key, if Harvard's $86,000, it is Harvard. At least you're getting that, right? Okay, But like,
they got butthurt. They
got mad butthurt. Okay, and so one of the Northeastern kids, this kid who was in ROTC, mind you, right?
Yeah.
He's like, supposedly like going into the military, right? Looks up my address and DMs it to me. It's like, I know where you live, and I'm like,
relax.
First off, I'm like, you have your legal name on here, so I screenshot, called the police.
Smart,
right?
good.
Had the cops come after him.
That's literally a threat.
I put in the reports. I actually got his ROTC commander involved, and so he got like, I know. He got smoked, and so
F around, and find out.
Well, also I live in Florida, so if anybody finds my address and you want to have a fun time,
you actually find out.
Second Amendment is a thing for a reason. Okay, but in any case, but like back to this, so like, they started sending me that.
That's hilarious.
I get death threats a lot.
That's hilarious.
Like, people, I think, like don't understand, like on the internet, they're like, oh, like you should like F yourself, you should off yourself, you should do that stuff. It's nonstop. And one of the worst that I got was when I posted a video and I'm like, of all the people who have no right to be complaining about their grades, like if you go to Harvard, like low key chill out. Okay. Over 60% of the grades they were giving last year were A's. 60%.
Insane.
And like people don't understand.
It's not a benchmark. Like
No, not at all. But like,
the
the argument they make is like, oh, well, you accepted us because we got A's, and like now you're surprised that we get A's. It's like, okay, if we go back 10 years, that percentage wasn't 60% at Harvard; it was 30.
Yeah, so how is suddenly half the class smarter now? Or
Like you're telling me 10 years ago the kids at Harvard didn't get in for getting all A's? Like, bro, like come on, come on, it's cope.
It really doesn't matter. Like, and, genuinely, like nobody cares about GPAs post.
Well, they do.
Besides grad school.
No, grad school. So I'll tell you who cares, and this is why they're all upset about it, because these kids are, even though they market themselves as being like risk takers and innovative, for the most part, this, they're not all that risk taking. They're mostly going into finance, consulting, med school, law school, and who cares about those grades? Finance, consulting, med school, law school, right? And now, but here's the thing. It wouldn't matter if it happens at the institutional level, right? So the problem would be if it was just affecting one kid, right? Or let's say one major at the college. If the whole college does this, they compare you primarily to the other kids at the college.
Yeah, so if we all have the same, but then if you all have the same, like just a 4.0 at Harvard doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, and that was the issue. That's why they're doing it, because what was happening was graduate schools were actually they weren't accepting the kids.
Yeah, they were weighing the 4.0s lower.
Yeah,
that's what happens at 4.0 at UChicago is significantly more impressive. Like arguably, like a 3.75 at UChicago is more impressive than 4.0 at Harvard.
100%, 100%. When I was in college, I mean, one of the great things, and I gotta give Stony Brook credit for this when I went there. And this is one of
Long Island. Bing is better,
bro.
Call over,
bro. Bro, Bing is buns, bro.
Bing is buns.
It's in the middle of nowhere, upstate, man. It's low key in Canada.
Binghamton is significantly low key in Canada. My sister went to the University of Rochester. If you want to talk about Canada, it's cold. Bing is significantly more fun than those Stony.
I mean, they have more fun, but like they're not doing anything important. like whatever. Like go have fun if you want. Like I actually got hired. What do you want? Like anyway.
Call the Uber. Enough of this Bing slander.
Anyway,
oh my god!
But the reason I give him credit, this is why I was cool with going there, was because
Harvard's dialing it back.
No, they were hardcore with the grading. Like when I was in my class, I took a theoretical mechanics class when I was at Stony Brook. It was physics 303. I think.
Casual.
And
so did I. Yeah.
But it was a really hard class, and like the average score on our final was
like a 26.
It was like a 40, right? It was like a 40. It was
I hate those stories.
Yeah.
It's sick.
All my classes were like
call
that.
your mom. Yo, mom, I got a 40 in my final. Oh my god, what happened? No, I got the highest grade in the class.
Yeah, I was good. So I got an A- in that class, and low key, my average in that class was a 68. Okay, and I did great. As far as the class is concerned, I was very happy.
Arguably, you did one of the best.
Dude, I was stoked. Okay, my professor was this guy who his PhD was from MIT. He was this like cracked guy, really amazing. And Martin Rochek, shout out. Okay, like really amazing physics prof, and one of the greatest professors I ever had. Actually, a really fantastic guy, and thank God he actually took me for a specialized study class after the fact on. A bunch of other interesting things with group theory. But like all this is to say, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I got to learn a lot from him and from the work that I did in that class. Now, why do I say all this? Because like they went the extra mile so that if you graduated from there and you had like a 3.8, 3.9, whatever, people, started to know like, okay, like you're legit.
Correct.
You're legit. Yeah. It meant something. And so, everybody in my graduating class that was actually good, they all went on to like fantastic graduate schools, and they got hired and they had no issues, even though they came from a state school and even though like they didn't have the same kind of recruiting stuff, and we were fine. Okay.
No, it matters. Yeah, it matters. And arguably like where you go for grad school and where you go for post.
Right.
Matters more. It matters more. Yeah.
But that's why I tell people like go Ivy or go free. The name of the podcast, right?
Go Ivy or go free.
I tell them to make that choice because I feel like it's a barbell strategy at this point.
100%.
Either you're going to go to one of these top schools 100%. Or, you should go somewhere where you're not saddled in debt.
100%.
Tell me a little bit about your perspective on that because I'm curious. So like, you graduated from Chicago. What was your plan when you graduated? I'm curious. Like, what were you thinking about when you were a student there? What actually happened?
That's do you want the full story? Or you want part of it?
We got time.
How we're gonna be here I'm gonna be here next week. I will be making a guest appearance when Lemmy comes, and I'll be here for the reunion episode where we have a huge. We're in your living room and we have stools. It's everyone from the season.
High key, I would love to have.
Wouldn't that be fire,
dude? I think that the conferences that they have right now for people in the admission space are literally just a bunch of like boomer
that are just hyping each other up.
They're literally just like boomer university.
Exactly. They have forgotten the point of the plot.
Yeah, and they're not helping anybody. Yeah. And like honestly,
it's people like you that are helping people. It's people that genuinely like the amount of I just recently actually won an emerging counselor award from the Marriage Education. They are amazing at what they do. But my entire like pitch to them after I was nominated was I'm helping individual students, but like there are such a small amount of people who like have this such like niche and minute like attention to detail, like helping students with very specific and complicated cases.
Yeah.
And while also like understanding the big picture and being impactful for millions of students a day.
Yeah.
Like that is absolutely insane. The amount of students you have reached, the amount of students like that have taken your advice, like their lives are, even if it's the smallest thing, have changed because of just your platform and the platforms we have is insane. Like
it's the best thing.
It's insane.
And it makes me, can I tell you, one of the reasons why I do this is because, I wish I had somebody like me
100%.
To follow when I was there.
100%. And everyone says all the time, that's half the comments.
Yeah. It makes such a big difference because, and I get these comments, especially because like Ivy Day was like a couple days ago.
Yeah, like 2 days ago.
And so like my DMs have been flooded.
Yeah, I've been seeing.
Flooded, dude. And
bro, someone went 8 for 8, right?
I know, right? Yeah. No. We had a few clean sweeps actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So and a couple of those were my long-term clients, and we had a couple that were just people who followed me too, and just like followed my advice. And it's really cool to me because I see these kids who are just getting nonstop bombarded with the absolute most toxic advice in the world. 100%. And they're being told things like, be yourself, just be yourself. And, it kills me because like, who do you think you're talking to? Right. And like, just be yourself is one of those things that sounds very virtuous when you first say it, because you're like, oh, like, should I hate myself? Right. And it's like, no, but the toxic part about it is that there's two toxic things about it, right? The first thing is that it ignores the fact that we are choosing a persona every time we present ourselves to somebody.
As if we aren't already ourselves.
Yeah, well, no, but we're not. But yourself is multifaceted, right? So you are not like yourself. Right? Yourself is this like giant, impossible to know thing. I could 100%. Talk to you here for days and I would not know Youssef. Yeah. I would know the piece of Youssef that you present to me, which is a carefully curated identity, which you have to do. And being on social media makes this a little more obvious. Like if you're an influencer and a creator, you learn very quickly that like there's a persona and a character that to an extent you're playing. Like people actually notice this with me.
Really?
Yeah, because like they'll see my persona online.
I feel like you're the same from online, but you're just like, but you're also just like I none of it feels like curated to me. Right. It seems so natural.
Well, I mean, and a lot of it is because and that's the nice thing about having like an individual platform. I can have some authenticity, but like also, there's a lot of me they don't see, right? And people make a comment like, "Oh, like I thought you were going to be like such a hard ass. I met you in person." And it's like, and like I'm actually just like,
no, I'll take a shot with you, like,
like, right? Like I'm actually I try to be like more relaxed, and it's not the full personality you'll see.
That's so interesting. What's the like craziest interaction you've had with someone that's like recognized you outside of this?
Oh my God, I get recognized. So I'll tell you, it was funny actually. So. I got engaged last April. Thank you.
We will be in Crete in July. I'm very excited. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, yeah. No. So I'm getting married this summer, which is going to be amazing. And it. So I proposed to Sophia in New York City last April. It was beautiful. So it was funny. I posted this on my social media. So some people know about this already. I surprised her. My fiance is a photographer, and so we do photo shoots in different parts of the world when we go on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just try to hire like a local photographer, and we make like it's like a fun thing for her because she enjoys having the pictures. And so I lied to her and I told her like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a photo shoot in New York City, and I rented out a helicopter for her, like a sick theme. I have like all the views, and so she thought it was just a photo shoot, and then I popped the question like right in front of the helicopter. It was great. But like the morning of, like before we did that, we were riding.
The Ivy guy.
No, literally, no, actually, yeah. So we were riding bikes in Central Park, right? And it didn't occur to me that like because we were staying at a hotel in Manhattan, and so we drove the bikes up to Central Park, and Central Park at the high end is like right next to Columbia, right?
Yeah.
And so like we turned the corner at the north end of Central Park, and like some people started screaming out, "Oh, it's the Ivy guy! It's the Ivy guy!" And I'm just like, hey, what's up? I'm like, it was cool. Yeah, but usually it's at airports. It's always been very nice, honestly. Yeah, I've never had any negative interactions in person.
Nor have I. Only positive. Yeah,
well, I think people are paper tigers. Yeah. The paper tigers are keyboard warriors. Right? They'll come out of you like that.
More. I also I kind of think it would be fun to like run into someone who like has something to say. Like something bad to say. I would love to just like, I just love arguing.
I feel like I would win him over. I
think so too. I think so too. Well, confession, I absolutely hated your guts. Like, really? I hated you so... No, playing. Oh. And then I talked to you and you won me over. No, that was completely...
I feel like that would be a fun thing, though, because I would love, within a respectful context, to bring somebody on here who had like a thing
next week, invite the guy that from whatever that sent your address. Be like, you want to actually come over?
Oh, my God. Bro.
if this pod gets 50K likes...
That's it. Okay. It's 50K likes.
Okay, if this pod gets 50K likes, Andreas will invite the person who gave him a death threat on the pod. We're going to get him live next week. We're doing it.
In the Thunderdome.
I'm moderating. Okay. And if he's open to it, we'll have a boxing match after. I'm moderating.
Okay, we should. Can I tell you that'd be the funniest thing ever? So how people like propose that like I should do that with like other people. I would totally do influencer boxing. It'd be so much fun.
Would you? Oh, I would. Oh my God!
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I would do a heartbeat. I used to grapple. I used to do a karate and
so I did jujitsu for a little bit, but like I would need to get back into it.
Yeah,
and I don't think it wouldn't help me with the boxing.
Not at all. But just want to mention that. Wait. Bro, that's insane. We should plan that. Would you ever do like a college like debate? Like the campus, like the table and the signs. Like,
oh my God.
Would you ever do one of those?
Would you want to?
I would be down.
Would you want to set that up at Columbia?
Oh my God, I'd be so down. Like an admissions hot take.
Yeah.
And get people to debate us.
Would they kick us off campus though? We'd have to get a. They are good.
We could do it like NYU, like Washington Square Park. They call that park the newsroom because all the like man on the street interviews do all their series in Washington Square Park.
Well, and it's a public park, so they can't like remove you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd be down for that. You want to do that?
Hip. I'm so hip. That'd be so cool. That'd be such good content.
I wouldn't mind that.
And I'm curious what like more students are thinking right now that disagree with me. I know what students are thinking that agree with me.
Oh yeah.
I don't get to talk as much to people who.
Well, it's hard because you have to come out with some pretty like
controversial.
I mean, I have some stuff like that.
That's genuinely like I don't know if you agree. I don't trust sources as much that aren't willing to stand authentically on takes that might not be as popular. I don't think that you have. I think you have less authority in the space if you don't have these like certain takes that you believe because. Of course, like being in the space, like we all have different experiences, but we also work with a lot of students. So, like, even as like this is just what we're seeing as a trend. Because again, we also talked about this a bit before we started. There's a lot of people in the space that come and go. There's a lot of, like it sounds cool.
It's so
and they join for a minute,
again, I don't want to call people out to make them feel bad, but like I'm not kidding you. Like I remember when I started posting on social media back in 2023, I could name the top 5 people. Not a single one of them is posting anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for Limmy. Limmy's the only one of the people who were like
Limmy,
like maybe a couple other people.
Carolyn.
Right.
I've been around since 2020, but I'm not consistent like as much as I should be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's really it's only a handful of people.
All the people I started with, they're all gone.
Right, 100%.
Either have sold their pages or
because it's also like if you don't figure out a way to make a business out of it or have your own business, it becomes very exhausting very fast. Yeah. So I have a few businesses that I run through this, and so like I have staying power. Right. And what's nice too is I'm also thankfully not dependent on sponsorships, which also helps a lot because that lets me, I call out a lot of programs and there's a lot of people who don't want to work with me because of that.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Cause I'll call them out, like all the scam summer programs. And I'm just like, no, actually and mind you, some of those
do be running ads. Yeah.
Well, a lot of them are educational, but they say like, oh, this will get you into Harvard. It's like,
no, that's nothing.
No,
How can you guarantee that? Yeah. Even
no,
Harvard programs don't get you into Harvard. Even
no.
going to Harvard undergrad doesn't guarantee you graduate school at Harvard.
No, none of it does. And so like I'll call out these programs, and then like I can't tell you like so. Did you hear about the controversy with Futures Forge recently?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Wait, Future Forwards?
Futures Forge,
No.
Futures Forge. So they were this like little summer program in Boston
Okay.
that ended up like hiring like half of the top influencers for admissions to promote their program, which again by itself would not have been a problem.
Mm.
However, most of the advertising about it was like, "Oh, this will get you into an Ivy. This is the top thing I'll prep for Ivy. We have this many people that get into Ivies," and they kept doing that. And at one point, they came to me. They're like, "Oh, we're going to write you a check. You know, if you promote us in the same way." I'm just like, I don't really know about your program. I don't like the way you're talking to me, right? So
Yeah.
I turned them down like a year and a half ago
Wow.
just because like the guy who founded the
Wow.
program, I think it was Eric that emailed me. I didn't like his attitude, right?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, yeah, no thanks, like not interested in this stuff.
Especially someone who's like has been in this space, like
Yeah.
understands the space, like it's
I just didn't like his approach, right? And so people come to me, and the thing is, like, I don't know if it's the same with other people who just have audiences, because if you just have an
Yeah.
audience but no business, right?
Yeah.
Then you're highly dependent on the sponsorships, and so you have a different relationship, I think, with them. I don't care at all if I get sponsorships.
That's so refreshing. That's really refreshing.
I don't need them for anything, right? And so I get to say whatever I want, which is great.
I do, and I definitely see that with my audience. I do love a good brand deal,
Which
but
is great.
yeah, which, like it's good to pay the bills, but sometimes I feel like my audience knows, like just I'm just gonna scroll past this video or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes they do.
Yeah.
But low key, like when you do endorse something, if you're just careful about it, I think, and it's something that I'm not against, by the way, people doing brand
Your,
deals.
your voice is your value, and just if you're giving it out for the highest bidder, it dilutes your page, it dilutes your
100%. People aren't going to
takes.
trust it as much, so you have to be careful. I think if you're
commercialized.
if you're growing and you have a bigger audience in the space, you have to vet these people. You have to make sure that whatever you promise there is actually deliverable.
Yeah.
And if it's not deliverable, the money is never going to be worth it, because you will make more money in your audience. I tell people, you need to be thinking long term. Like I've launched at this point 3 separate businesses that are all doing fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Because my audience trusts me, and they come to me and they say, okay, I know this guy, I know what he's doing. When he sells us a product, it'll be what he says it was.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that's why this stuff works. And long term, they grow. And that's the point. Right. Whereas if you were to just go take the brand deal and then you nuke your audience, or you send them to this program, it's like, oh yeah, it's the best research program ever. And it's like, you're
I'm
really
not
just like
liking it.
sitting around summarizing like science
Right.
papers. Like
Right.
it's not really it. So, but anyway, back to the Futures Forge thing. They ended up suing a kid, or sorry, threatening to sue. Excuse me. So I'm just going to preempt
No
this.
way.
I'm going to preempt this because like I don't want to get sued myself, right?
valid.
So I may not have all the legal details here perfect, and this is my opinion. You can't sue me now.
This is alleged.
This allegedly. Okay, so allegedly they sent cease and desist letters, and they tried to get this high school kid who was calling them out for like not having a great program and like low key like overcharging for some garbage that they didn't deliver on. That was his opinion, right? So he posted this all over Reddit, and then their program got nuked because like I saw it and I saw the receipts, and I had a few people that I knew who went there too, and like I made a video about it. I'm like, yeah, like I don't like this program, right? Again, my opinion, right? But I made this video, and apparently their enrollment, they were going to do 4 summer sessions. They're down to less than one, and the one they have is like half the size, right? It just got nuked.
It's crazy.
Right, and so they didn't bother going after me because I guess they're chicken, but they went
After this student.
they went after a high school kid, 17-year-old kid, and they're like, oh, pay us $1 million right now, we're going to sue you. $1 million. They put that in a letter, and he published the letter so you could see it. And again,
That's
like
insane.
I could be wrong about some details here, alleged,
It's all alleged.
but ew.
Oh my god.
Just ew.
Yeah, what
Ew.
bro, yeah, that's disgusting. Ew, bro. Who does that? Who does that? You would be
Eric
surprised
Fogg,
how
Eric Fogg and Nat Green. That's who does that.
Allegedly does
Allegedly.
you would be surprised how many student impact, like education, but we want to help student type
yeah.
of people would pull things like that. You'd be
Oh
very
no,
surprised.
I'm not. I hear the stories nonstop. They do
Yeah.
really shady stuff
Yeah.
on the
It's like,
margins.
why are you even in this space?
I don't know why they're in this space, man. And this is, I think the incentives are messed up. And I'm curious to hear your take on this as someone who's actually been like
Yeah.
promoting these things. Like, how do you make sure that you're providing the right kind of value to your audience?
100%. That's such a good question. I mean, like my community is like everything to me. Like my platforms, just like I'm only in the rooms. I only have the opportunities because of them, and
Right.
I'm very aware of that. And I'm very grateful for that. It's tough. Like it's very tough when you toe the line of I want to keep helping students. I want to keep helping students, but eventually, I have to help myself,
Right.
and I have to work with these brands. I will say I feel like I work with more mainstream brands
But that helps.
than more of the specific educational programs I have to vet. The what I Let me tell you I'm very curious how you feel, especially with Wiz and just
Yeah.
like AI in general. I almost all of my brand deals, like they usually do well, and they are typically they're more mainstream. So I'm supporting, like I'm promoting a Microsoft laptop. If you don't
Yeah,
want the laptop,
which is
don't
great.
buy it. But it's these AI programs more so that have tended to have more of
All
a
the AI note taker apps.
yeah.
Bro.
The study help apps, like
Yeah, it's crazy.
and just like breaking down the service of it, the resource, like what it actually does. It might make sense for students, like some of the like physical recorders and note takers might make sense for some students. Some of them are actually accessible, like
Right.
they make things accessible. But just AI as a whole is like controversial.
Well, how so? What do you mean?
Especially with our generation, like it
Well,
just
tell me about it. What do you
yeah,
think is
I
controversial
mean,
about it?
this is just what I've heard. These are some of the conversations I've had, but a lot of students and a lot of Gen Zers don't like AI. One, like for environmental reasons, so like all of the like the water being used just to like for AI to run in these like huge.
Oh no, dude, that's a huge misconception.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Okay, let me. So this is fun actually. So I get to do this because of the physics stuff.
Okay.
I'm actually pretty familiar with the engineering of this.
Mhm.
They don't consume water. Any of these data centers, they use the water for cooling.
Yeah, for cooling.
So they take the water in and they heat it up a little bit. And so mind you, this is the old version. So they used to take
Okay.
water in, heat it up, and spit it back out. The data centers that are being built, they consume. They actually have a closed loop system, so they don't consume any water.
It's the same water.
Just
you're
the same,
saying.
it's literally the
Okay.
same water one time. They
Interesting.
don't consume. Yeah, that's actually like, believe it or
That's
not,
a huge. Okay,
that's
then
been
that would be-
propagated by it's fake news, right? So it's been
I've been
propagated.
propagandized.
Well, aren't we all, man? Like, by the way, I'm not saying that personally. It's just that, like, no, the AI data centers aren't doing that.
Okay.
Like the power consumption thing is legit. That's messed up. Like,
Yeah.
we're like they build a data center, and then all of a sudden your electricity bill like doubles, and you're just like having a house. Like, why am I paying double for my electricity
Right,
to subsidize your
Right.
Google's data center? I'm sorry, Google can't foot their own bill. Excuse
For
you.
real, for real. Okay, so what are your takes on like more of the like cultural harms of AI? Like,
Well,
just
that's a bigger downside. If we're going to talk about harms of AI, I'm with you on that. Like, so, like, okay, like I think it's more opportunity than it is harm. To be honest, I'm pretty optimistic about this, just because I build with AI, and so
Yeah.
I get to. I guess I'm on the leading edge of this because with Wiz, we're making our own AI tutoring and AI education
Yeah.
systems,
Yeah.
and so I get to see the cutting edge of what a really great AI enabled application looks like. And so that makes me feel better because it's not just like a wrapper on ChatGPT when we're using proprietary data and systems and interfaces and all the extra stuff that you have to do to make something that's not just like, using AI as a label, but is actually useful and using AI. That was one of the actual requirements I had for my team. I made it, they were not allowed to use AI unless you could prove to me that there was no way to make the feature work without AI.
wow.
So I refuse to let my team use AI as a stupid buzzword, which we can do because we're not. I also refuse to take money from venture capitalists.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've had
We were talking
multiple,
about this.
dude. I've had multiple VCs like
Yeah, tell 'em.
So it's crazy. So for most people, if you guys don't know how a software company typically starts, right? Usually it's a bunch of guys that get together. You have an idea. You build like a minimum viable product that will solve some problem, and then you're supposed to traditionally go pitch it to a bunch of these venture capitalists who will pay you
Got a
like $1
bunch of
million
seeds, yeah.
for like 10% of your company or whatever, and they'll give you some money so you can pay salaries to people, and you can comfortably build your company
Right.
comfortably. Like you get paid, whatever, $50 to $100,000 a year, whatever. But like, it's enough to cover your expenses while you're building. That's usually the model that had worked in Silicon Valley for like the past 20 years or so. That model's dead. If you're even like remotely smart right now, you can start a software company with Cloud Code, with a couple cracked engineers. And if you have like an existing business, like in myself, I already had a few businesses that were already running.
Right.
So I had some cash flow coming and I could hire a few people out of my own pocket. I didn't need their money, right? So what I would have needed investors for would be for distribution, right? But I also have my own social media platform. So I don't need them for distribution. So then, like, they came to try to invest in my company a couple of times because they saw
What
like
are,
Wiz.
what are you doing?
Yeah, Wiz has like almost 80. We crossed 80,000 users. We're on track for 100.
Yeah.
And like we have a lot of really great things going for it. It's monetized, doing very well.
Yeah, it's great.
But so they wanted to invest in the site, and I'm like, okay, so like, what do you give me? They're like, oh, like we're gonna give you like $1 million to like help you build the site. I'm like, but
Sure, but like,
we're already cash flow positive.
Right.
So I can pay for the site. And they're like, oh, well, couldn't you pay for it faster? I'm like, we're already out competing everybody. They're like, it's growing. I'm going to keep doing it faster. Right. The flywheel happened already. So, and they're like, oh, well, I mean, we have connections. Like, to who? Who are you connected to?
Right.
Like, and they're like, nothing. Right.
Wow.
So I turned them down. I turned down their money.
That's balls.
And more people are doing it now.
Yeah.
Because you can bootstrap a company now without any of their venture capital. Because the venture capitalists, I think, are mosquitoes, to be honest, for a lot of founders. They kick you out of they're always trying to kick you out of your company, even though like being the founder, you're the only person who can actually adapt to a changing environment, which is crazy. They are taking a percentage eventually of your profits if you do exit. It's and again, like, and you have to ask, like, what are they giving me for this? Like, if I was a hardware company where like the kind of startup capital I needed for this was massive, sure,
that would make sense. Yeah.
I'm not a hardware company.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You want something funny?
Tell me.
So, have you seen like the YC backed like test prep startups that?
Like all the like different groups.
Guess what their marketing budgets are? They're spending like almost $1 million a month in marketing.
That's crazy.
Do you know how
that's crazy?
Do you know how much it costs to pay Instagram to give you like 200,000 views? For 200,000 views on Instagram, like their CPMs are like around like $1 to $2. So they're paying a good $200,000 to $300,000 a month just in paid advertising.
That's crazy.
Like you and I get that for free.
Right.
Like,
that's crazy.
I could pay to Instagram $200K, or I could just be interesting.
Clip it. I could pay Instagram $200K, or I can just be interesting. That's crazy. Write that down.
No, but that's
insane.
But that's how you run a company, right? So like Roy Lee was saying this actually, who I also like. I was talking about being on the podcast too. I hope he comes on at some point soon.
Yeah.
It'd be if I can get. I know he's super busy, but it'd be lovely to have a conversation with him. That's the thing I saw him do with Cluely that I thought was very interesting, and like. There's other stuff.
Clue's cool.
I love their marketing.
Yeah.
Right? Above and beyond, if there's one thing I know for a fact he got right, it was the marketing and the attention.
Yeah, I agree.
And he has this thesis that he put out where he's saying that like, the most valuable thing in the next few years is going to be getting eyeballs on things. Right? If you know how to get eyeballs, you are more valuable than the builders at this point because it's too easy to build stuff now.
Yeah.
Right?
This is true. It's true. Yeah.
So it makes a difference.
It's insane, bro. It's insane.
What's the next step for Youssef University?
Oh my God. That's such a good question. Thought about this for a while.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I do a few different things. I work in a tech company, and I also manage and support some of the dance moms from the show.
Sick.
They're on tour right now. I haven't had time. There are a few products I'm working with a team to build right now, which is great. But as for like Youssef University, I mean, I kind of want to go back to the roots almost, like why I even started it. I like have had the opportunity to make my own scholarship programs, and that's has given me the most energy. Like it's given me the most validation. My dream, like, and I'm shocked I'm even like admitting this on camera, is to build my own scholarship foundation. So eventually I want Youssef University to like be like a fairly like successful and like really inclusive scholarship program where I can pick students I really want to support just by like hearing their stories and like actually like doing the work, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for like for the Spank Scholarship Fund flying me out to Chicago. I literally wouldn't be sitting here. Like it all has projected me exactly where I've been, and I don't take that for granted. So I kind of just want to, I want to give it back, but like building a scholarship foundation is no light task.
Well, tell me about the mechanics of that. So
I wish I could.
no, I mean, let's imagine it for a second. So
Yeah.
like, let's say you wanted to make a scholarship foundation. So let's say you had the money, right? How would you organize it so that it's better than what we already have?
That's such a good question. I mean, like, would I go more of this route where it would be low income students? Would I go the more merit route? Would I make it like extremely niche or like super broad? I mean, I think it would need to surround a problem that would need to be solved then and there.
Yeah, I like
if
that.
we're thinking,
you want to keep it localized. I think the big problem with a lot of scholarship programs is that they try to help everybody, and you can't.
I agree.
Yeah. And it makes it harder to get the donors too, right? So what you really want to do, I think, if I was doing a scholarship program, what I would really want to do is grab people who care about one particular issue, kind of assemble it. Like I like you saying, didn't you say bold.org does that now?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a section you can, if you personally want to, like, there's a lot of like memorial scholarships. Like if you can go as niche as you want, like Arizona, this county, like
I like that,
like what this work, this age gap. But yeah, if like I'm no stranger to like building on my own scholarships, which each have gotten thousands of applicants. Like I've worked with the separate teams, and we reviewed every single one. Like there isn't a single person that will ever like give me their time and I don't give it back to them. But at the end of the day, it's like, you do these things and it's like, oh yes, people are excited. Yes. Like people are applying. But like I have 5,000 applicants and I have $1,000. And I'm like it doesn't feel like I'm actually like being as impactful as I think I am. And like the numbers are great. Applicant wise, not the amount we were giving out. But like what can I do to formally build it out in my name, be consistent, and actually like support students not in like these one-off programs. Like I had this one scholarship program now I'm on the board for. They were one of the ones where the money went straight to me.
That's awesome.
And they took care of us. Like throughout the 4 years, it was a requirement. Like we're only going to give you $5,000 every year if you meet with us per semester, per quarter. Tell us how things are going.
Let me tell you,
what resources you need.
I love that because it's not hands off, right?
100%.
The scholarship program, we
just give money and then you're gone.
Right. So I'm a big believer in that too. Like I don't like charity where you give the money and walk away.
Like how? Like listen, money's impactful. I'm not going to negate that, but like for certain, like the mission of your program, like it would be indicative to, you know.
Well, you want to have you want to have the smart person, whoever, because
it's also an investment, yes, because you're investing in them, but you're not checking in on your investments,
which is such an issue.
Yeah,
and this is how I believe, because like I do a lot of work. So especially recently, I've been working with my. So Greek people, when we get married, we actually have like godparents for the wedding. So my kubata for the wedding, he's kind of like my spiritual best man, if that makes sense.
Oh, hell right? Yeah.
So he and
it's not me.
Yeah. So he and I worked together, and we started this foundation to educate people on Byzantine chant, which is a really important like art form within the Greek Orthodox Church. And so that's something I've been working on recently. It's called the Chant Stand, so chantstand.org.
Check it out.
We had this really cool conference here in Boca. We had 40 chanters get trained.
Really?
And we flew in some master chanters. It was a really beautiful event. Wow. And we'll be doing more events like this. But the reason why I was super hands-on with that, and we could have written a check to the Archdiocese, and we could have just hands-off done whatever, but I firmly believe that like God gave us talents on this earth, and he gave us talents to use the talents to actively help other people.
100%.
And that is the almsgiving, not I'm going to write this check to a nameless, faceless nonprofit. Like that's the criticism I have, 100%. To be honest.
Yeah.
You know who I see who does this, and it's really sad? Mackenzie Bezos. Have you seen her do that? Yeah. So she's been writing multi-million-dollar checks to all these foundations. And if you go look at the financials of these foundations, because some of them are required to do federal disclosures, it's horrendous. Yeah. We're talking 90% overhead, which means that like she gave them $1 million, 900,000 of that $1 million went to the employees of the foundation, 10% actually helped people.
It's insane. It's insane.
Like meanwhile, if she was on, let's say even 1-to-1, just like went to people and said, I'm going to help fix your life,
would be so much more impactful.
Right.
Just that one investment fixing your life.
Yeah, just one person at a time.
Yeah.
And you know, actually devoting the time out of your day to do it. And not like you just chill on a yacht with
That's
your
what people
friends
don't
on
wanna do.
Epstein's Island and write a check to the
right,
foundation.
right.
Like
And you still,
low
like-
key like Bill Gates. Like okay, low key.
None of my business, none of my
No, can I
business.
tell you, because you know they signed the giving pledge. Like, okay, you know, I'm gonna give 99% of my wealth to charity when I die. Why? Why would you do that? You're such a smart guy. I guarantee if Bill Gates got it together and personally, and I think he does this a bit through the Gates Foundation, which I respect. If he personally invested his time and his brain power to go solve a problem,
Yeah.
he would actually solve a problem. Like that's what I like about like Joe Lehman, who I interviewed him in the previous episode here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, multi-billionaire. Okay, had this amazing software company, took $1 billion out, and he started his own brand new reimagined version of high school called Alpha School. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, what I loved about that is he is the principal of that school. He's not like
I
letting
built
it
this
run.
and then just like, I'm just collecting the revenue and doing everything. No, he actually cares about the work, and
He's a
there.
genius.
Yeah.
He's there every day.
Yeah.
He's fixing problems. He's fixing their models. He's making it actually work. And you know what? They're probably going to succeed because of that.
Oh,
'Cause he's
100%.
hands-on, and
100%.
He's fixing the issues.
Yeah, yeah. No, for real. That's exactly what I want. Like I want to care about something enough where I want it to be my day to day, and I want to like I want to help
You follow up
students.
with the kids after.
Yes, I mean like my first like scholarship. I worked to a student. He lives in Staten Island, and I still get emails from him, and I respond like it's just so like validating to see like that, like me giving a student $1,000 isn't an investment in their life. Like it'll probably be used in like a day with this economy, but like genuinely like betting on someone that probably is worth even more to them. Like you heard my story and you bet on me. Like I'm going to prove you right.
It's like a point of courage, I think, even to the person. It's not even about the money.
No, not at all. I mean, like the money's great. Like the money's fine, but like having like just people in your corner, like this one scholarship, like just my lowest of lows, my highs of highs. Like it was a requirement to check in with them. I mean, I was on a billboard a few days ago, and I sent my old scholarship director, the person that I would check in, a picture of it.
Oh,
like
awesome.
We still talk every day.
What were you on the billboard for?
It was part of this banquet. So I was at this. It was a really good time. I was at this, like, it was for Muslim change makers.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But yeah, it's just like the most random thing. She's part of my life, and I'm like, that's what I want to be for other students, not in a weird way, but like that's what I want to feel like. They like they have heard my story and they feel heard with their story, and they're there and I'm on the board for the scholarship program, and I get to read applications and choose the next cohorts, like to like believe in something, and I want that for myself. Like I really want I don't know, I really want to fill a gap somewhere. I don't want whatever I do, I don't want to feel like I'm competing with anyone. I don't want competitors. I want to only fill a gap. I don't want to go into a scene with this foundation, at least, where that like I'm.
Well, I mean, you'd be solving
mirroring
something unique,
something.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you're creative enough, you'll be fine. I want to zoom out for a second.
Let's do it.
Because right now, I think in the U.S. we're facing a real crisis in higher education for a lot of reasons. I'm just going to lay out a couple of things.
100%.
So, you know, student loan debt in this country is about to cross $2 trillion. Like 2 trillion, like with a T. I'm pretty sure. Quote me on. I could get that number a little off, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Okay, it's a massive amount. It's the only kind of debt that is non-dischargeable in bankruptcy, which means that like any other kind of debt you get in your life, mortgage, car, whatever. Let's say you mess up and you get the wrong thing, you know, you can declare bankruptcy, and yeah, your credit will be messed up for a few years, but you know you can have the debt wiped. Okay, and they'll take your stuff, but you know you can start from zero. You have the option of starting from zero. Student loan debt is the only kind of debt that you can never start from zero, right? It is with you, good, bad, ugly. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it, except for like very rare forgiveness programs. They're super hard to do.
So hard to do.
Where do you think we're going as a country with that? Because like that's something that concerns me a 100%, lot. Because like what I'm seeing is, and this is something I've noticed. You tell me if you experience it in Chicago. I think this ties into what I was saying before. Like, why? I ask myself this question a lot. Why are there not more Elon Musks?
Right.
Or like, love the guy, hate
like
the guy, his politics. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like pure innovation.
Yeah, like not strictly innovation. Yeah, like we're at a point this won't get better until Americans sit down and they tell themselves that this piece of paper is not indicative to my success. Like, this piece of paper does not mean my future success. And just like, we've been fairly brainwashed to think that a lot of these elite institutions are the only answer to success, when in fact, like, there are a lot of ways to be successful. If anything, sometimes going to school like isn't the right thing. It's not the right path for a lot of people.
100%.
And until Americans like realize they don't have to spend all this money, every school is gonna fall into this like elite capitalist like idea of like, we're giving you this value just based off the name. Go to a city school. There are people that go to community colleges for 2 years and then transfer to like Harvard and only have to pay that degree for 2 years. It's absolutely, it's dubious. It's dubious. But listen, I don't think the debt is going to go anywhere. I only think prices will get. I only think it'll get worse. I only think prices of tuition will rise. Like, cost of attendance per year now is $100K for families that probably make less than $100K, if not just like a little bit over. It's insane.
It's crazy.
And like, until you put down the propaganda, until you put down the Kool-Aid of Ivy Leagues being the only thing that proves you're successful, we're never going to get over it. We're never going to get over it.
I think I agree with you on that. I think that's a big one. That's why I have this podcast name what it is. I call it Go Ivy or Go Free, because I want people to realize there's another choice.
But even state schools. Even state schools sometimes, 30K, 40K.
And out of state, they're just as bad.
Oh, it's horrendous.
It's just as bad. And it's so, like, my logic, I think, is a step further. I want to change the incentives.
Why even go to college?
No. Why are you paying for college if college
They should be paying us.
Well, see, this is what I think, right? If you graduate from a college, right, there should be some reasonable expectation that you can get hired, right? You know,
and if you don't, you have to give me back half my tuition.
I think that if your student loan debt can't be paid back after 10 years, the university should have to foot the bill.
I agree. Yeah. 10 years is generous too.
Oh, yeah, no, but I want to hold them accountable. That's what I'm saying.
Schools should be held accountable.
And so that way, the colleges are going to have to look at this and say, well, are we offering degree programs that don't get anybody hired? Which they are, by the way, most of them, total trash programs taught by professors who have never had a job in their life, okay? And wouldn't know a single useful skill if it hit them upside the head, okay? And so these people are not getting hired; they're not getting paid,
right?
And so I think we need to separate two things out. And I think this is a fundamental. This is a problem, I think, with the way universities are organized. I want to talk about the history of Ivy Leagues for a second.
Yeah, let's do it. They're robbing us blind.
Oh, they are, but they also weren't made for us, right?
It wasn't the history of the Ivy League? It was a sports club. It was a sports league.
Before that. Before the Ivy League was a sports league.
Tell us. Oh, I'm so curious.
So before the Ivy League was a sports league, it was a seminary. That's how all these colleges started. They were for training pastors, actually, for Protestant churches. The Harvard Theological School was the first school there, right? Yeah, and not at all the colleges it was like this. That was how they started, and then they started expanding, and they became liberal arts schools because that was very popular among the children of elites in the 1800s. Now, here's the thing about a liberal arts school, a liberal arts education in general. A liberal arts education can be valuable when it's a genuinely challenging thing and you're really cultivating the ability to think or whatever. If you're rich, here's the problem. If you are not already rich, you don't have the luxury of being like a think piece writer for The Atlantic making $40,000 a year, right?
Right.
This is the part that blows my mind because you'll have people picking these majors that can't possibly get them hired ever. And so these colleges were set up, they weren't made for you. Like my parents weren't in this country when these colleges were founded. These colleges were founded by people who were not like me. They were not made for me. They were not made for social mobility. These are not meant to be social mobility programs. What they really were and what they're structured as, and this is the legacy, the entire system is structured to be a finishing school system for the children of elites. And what we've done is we've conflated that with a jobs training program for middle class and lower middle class people.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the same.
Not at all.
Right? Like,
wow.
Let me ask you this.
You should do a video on this. This is so interesting.
Oh, I did. I got flamed by people for this. People they got so mad at me because they're like, well, what do you mean? A liberal arts education is like, the best thing. It like raises your thought process. I'm like, bro, You can read philosophy books for free.
Yeah.
You can go debate with your friends if you really want to. I'm just being honest. Like, I grew up poor, right? Straight up. We were on welfare for a while. We couldn't afford stuff.
Yeah.
I needed a job when I graduated. I
didn't need a better thinking process. Yeah.
Straight up. And now I could think, and I'm grateful that I got a chance to do a little bit of both.
100%.
But like, I'm going to be honest, if we're not hiring people, you're not doing someone a favor by giving them, and most people with political science degrees, to be candid with you, like, either you're going to law school or like, I don't know what you're doing, right?
Political campaigning.
Yeah, political campaigning. I used to work for campaigns. Like, it worked out really well, if you're on the finance side of it, right? But like, it's a hard thing to do, 100%. Right? But there's a limitation to that, right? You shouldn't be going $400,000 in debt for that.
I don't know if there's a single job you should be going $400,000 in debt for.
Yeah. No, very few. And what's crazy too? So I'm actually speaking to a few schools that do vocational training now. You want something that's going to blow your mind?
Tell me.
Guess how much an electrician with only maybe a couple years experience is getting paid right now?
I know this.
On the AI data centers.
I just saw the stat. It's over 6 figures.
Oh, yeah.
I know this. 160, final guess.
Yeah, it's low bound 150 up to 300.
Yeah, it's insane.
To make the AI data centers.
That's insane, bro. Guys, go to trade school. This is actually all to say though. Like, genuinely find your thing. Like choose different options. Like, there's so many different things to go out there. It is also like, because I think that colleges, and this is like such an interesting idea. Like, it's such an intersection of many things, like capitalism, cultural influences, social mobility.
People are doing it for marriage too.
Bring by spring. Don't even get me started. I've been to like 5 of my friends' weddings already, and I'm getting annoyed.
Well, God bless them, but like still, okay, no, 100%.
They got protect them, increase them. None of my business. But like there's such an idea that it's just become a staple. Essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. It's the institutions have become a staple to how you like. When you meet someone, it's, hey, like, where are you from? What school did you go to? Like,
exactly.
It's such
part of their identity.
Yeah, to the point where it have you ever heard like what invisible pressure is?
No, tell me about it.
So like, it's this concept of like, pressure is pressure, but it comes to the point where if that pressure, you don't even realize there's a pressure to do it, you're just like automatically like yes. Like, college has become this concept of just. The pressure doesn't even, like, you don't even feel the pressure, but like, you have to go to school.
Right.
You have to graduate.
Yep.
And whatever, you have to get a job after. Yeah. So people are going to school and never ask themselves if they even want to go to school. Like, it just is assumed.
And just for the social credit, because like,
100%.
It's because they're so afraid of showing up at like the house party with like their friends and family.
I'm the one that went to trade school. I'm the one that went to community college.
Where'd you go?
But everyone else is fun employed, and you're the only one making money.
Yeah, well, and I think that's going to be the big limiting factor in the next few years. And I think that as the price of tuition climbs higher and higher, and as people,
there'll be more of a discern. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a significant enough pull for this to completely 180. I think it needs to happen, but I think people are willing to go more and more in debt with the more it climbs. I think they are. I think what they need to see is the options outside of it are more normalized, are more mainstream, are more successful in some capacity.
This is what I meant though when I was saying before about the risk taking, because like I posed the question, and I mean this, like, why do we not have more Elon Musks? And I think in a big way, one of the reasons is the student loan debt. Yeah. And it's because, when I graduated from college, I actually took a job that didn't pay me.
That's crazy, guys. Don't do free labor.
No, but I was
the editor. Bleep that, please, bro.
No, but it was. Can I tell you, it was actually a good thing. And in rare cases, 99% of the time, I agree with you.
Okay.
But like this particular time, when I worked for a campaign, I was a volunteer at first, and I was literally I was digging holes in the sun in Florida. Right. Yep. And yeah. And I had 3 degrees, and I was still doing that. And like, But I tell you, I took a bet on myself because I wanted to go to law school and I really wanted to get involved with the campaigns, get the experience, and end up working in Washington. And
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And at the time, I really wanted to be a lawyer, and like I knew that was like the way up. And like within 2 weeks, I stole a call sheet and I started doing fundraising for the campaign. I raised like $30,000 in an afternoon.
What the hell?
Yep. And so then I got put on campaign finance, and I rose up in the campaign, and everything was fine. But and I eventually went and I worked in Washington for a while. I did some cool work there too. I actually worked on some interesting human rights issues. I was
Let's talk about this.
I wrote actually the first few drafts of the resolution that ended up recognizing the Armenian genocide.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really so. My great grandparents were caught up in that, believe it or not. My great grandmother was born in right near Izmir. Well, today modern Izmir, at the time Izmirna, in Greece, which today is part of Turkey. But her whole family was massacred, and so she barely escaped on an American vessel. When that whole city was burned in the early 1900s, and then it came over to some of the Greek islands, or like right across the way. My family were the survivors of that genocide, and among many millions of other people that also got involved in that too. But the reason why I bring it up is because I got to go work on all these cool issues. I kind of had like my own little side quest. I
would have never expected. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and so I was already counseling kids for college at the time, so I had enough income to like support myself. So I was able to do some interesting stuff while I was doing all that. So all this is to say that I had that flexibility to take those kinds of risks, and I built connections, and I learned from that experience 100%. In ways that if I had been in debt, I would never have been able to. I would have immediately gone straight into the workforce. I would have immediately gone for whatever.
Oh, you would have to. You would have to. You wouldn't have any chance to bet on yourself. You know what we should do? I have an idea for us.
Tell me.
I think we should launch a reality TV show.
Oh my God.
Where we take like 10 high school seniors.
Yeah.
They're like 18.
Okay.
And we have this huge cash prize. No one take this idea. Huge cash prize at the end. You're gonna take the idea. No, they're gonna take it. And essentially, like we tell them, if you don't go to college, if you don't apply, we'll give you all of these resources to build out your dream.
So the Teal Fellowship does this.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
But do they record the students and get all the drama?
No, they don't. they don't. Because making it like an actual docuseries, I think, would be freaking epic.
That would be insane. I want it to be like reality TV drama. Like
100%.
I want them to fight.
So you put them all in one house?
Exactly. Every week, someone's funding gets dropped by like 20K or something. God. I think that, or you compete for more money. Like I think, or like resources or opportunities to talk to people and whatever you're interested. I think that would actually be so cool.
That would be really
But the whole point is like, even like the loser, even the person in 10th place, had the chance to bet on themselves and like probably 100%. Were successful in some metrics in doing that. So just to show that there are different options.
You could low key make it like Survivor, and like someone gets voted off the island.
All right, you're an EP. You're definitely an executive producer.
That'd be so funny.
Wait, which fellowship does this?
So Peter Thiel had a fellowship where basically he'll pay you like $100K if you choose not to go to college at the age 18. People can apply for this. It's really interesting.
It's still open?
Oh, yeah. It's a thing.
Students apply.
My contention, to be honest, is that $100K is too low.
I think 100%.
It's way too low. It's too low
for 4 years. Like
it's too low for the opportunity cost, and it's too low to do something interesting. So like if I
has to be like $1 million.
That's what I was thinking. Like it would have to be something like closer to $1 million, and I say that because unfortunately it's not even that much money if you're going to start a company, right? Like granted, to live on, sure, but the goal would be for them to not just blow this money on like just horrible stuff, but you want them to actually use it productively. So they need way more capital than that. Maybe they give them like a ramp car with like a certain limit or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, but like you want to give them something so they can actually run with it. But that's what I'd love to see that actually. To be
that'd be sick. Like so I think that would
Netflix, if you're watching, okay.
Peacock, Paramount, we know you're watching. We know you're in our DMs. Stop. Listen to this right now.
I would take a development deal for this.
Okay? I agree.
I'm just being
okay, but we're co-hosts.
Deal. Okay. Deal.
It's set in stone right now. Don't edit this out. It'd actually be a sick idea.
Would you take that deal? Because if
I was a student,
imagine like at 18, someone came to you and
I was like, "You Chicago or
$1 million
to do your opportunity, $1 million. Let's do it. Let's run it."
Would you actually take it?
I dead wouldn't. If I already got to Chicago with a full ride,
yeah.
Honestly, if anything, that would give me more confidence to pursue my dream.
Right.
Like I've done something that's like so incredibly hard and selective. Like
Yeah.
I literally can beat the odds.
I wonder if that would that would actually be a cool thing to even offer like a federal level. You ever
Oh,
think about that?
imagine like I don't even think like federally that would even be considered. I mean,
No, I don't think that. I mean, maybe not right now, but like I don't know that would be an interesting thing. Okay, because I wonder if you could really change the incentive structure there. Imagine if
I agree.
Imagine if you could like have people, and I've thought about this for a while. Like, imagine if you could invest in students like that.
How can you tell an entire generation, decade for decade, century for century, that this is the one way to do things and everyone has to do it and it's going to work for everyone? That doesn't make sense.
But it doesn't work for anyone, which is the problem.
It doesn't. And I'm not deterring people from higher education. I think people should pursue higher education, but now when this price tag is debilitating at the end, like I actually really enjoy higher education. I'm a huge advocate for it. And
same.
I did love most of my time in Chicago. And I do want students to pursue what they want, but it's become this.
Well, no, because here's the thing, though, because when our parents went to college, it was a different proposition.
Oh,
right?
100%.
What's crazy is if you look at the
100%.
graphs of like how much they're charging as a percentage of the income of the average person, it used to be the kind of thing you could pay for with a summer job. Like that, I think needs to be the limit. Like we need to figure out like what's the average summer job.
I agree.
And that should be the maximum the college should be allowed to charge you. And
agree.
the colleges should have to then just figure it out. That's it. Like you guys figure it out. Whatever that happens, whatever you got to do to make your budget work with, and mind you, a summer job can pay you. If you were to work throughout the year part time, you could make $20,000-$30,000 a year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if the colleges charged $30,000, not $100.
Yeah.
Right. And
For full cost of attendance.
can I tell you something else? And this is going to get us in a little trouble too, which is fun.
Say it.
Okay.
Say it.
Do you ever think it's like low key weird that Harvard and Yale and Northeastern and NYU and Chicago and all of them across the board, all the way down to schools way lower ranked, they all settle in at this figure just under 100K, right around the same price.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that's a little sus? Like I think it's a little sus. I think it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Because you'd think there'd be like a big variation in price.
Oh, 100%.
Like if
this place has a better price tag, whatever.
Right. Like it's become look at cars, right?
Yeah.
Cars, Mercedes costs like a good amount. Ferrari costs way more than that. My Honda costs way less than that.
But if they all cost the same,
are they talking to each other?
Oh, they're 100% talking to each other.
I think they're
100%.
coordinating.
Every year they do. Every year they do.
The prices.
I mean, like with different aspects, like with case studies, like I feel like I've read some that they talk and they agree on how many students they're just going to accept in their like early pool, like things like that.
Yeah, which is super illegal.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It's fraudulent. So this is what I think is happening. I think what's happening, and part of the reason that I think the universities are really at fault for this, because I think what we said before, we're blaming like the students for like going after like let's say the Ivy League or whatever. I think that's a much more intractable problem because people are always going to have their status signaling. Right. Like people are always going to want to have their Chanel bags. Right. They always want their Harvard degree.
100%. 100%.
Like, that I think we're not going to be able to do much about. But if we're looking at the incentives the colleges have, let's say we made the colleges on the hook if you weren't able to get ROI.
Yeah.
Let's say we tell the colleges, oh, actually, you guys aren't allowed to price fix. In fact, you have this amount that you're allowed to charge, or you can go on whatever sliding scale you want, but then you can't talk to each other, and then you have to charge a proportion to however many people take it, and get rid of the ED contract so they can't play games with the yield. How much do you think
the whole game would be different? The whole game.
It really would be.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen. By the way, with that lawsuit.
I hope so. I think I don't even feel like this is the first time they've been sued for something like this.
Oh no, it is.
For specifically the binding part.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Not them talking to each other.
No, well, that's part of the lawsuit too. So apparently, what the lawsuit's claiming is that the colleges not only did the ED, but they did the ED.
Conspired.
Yeah, no, literally to conspire between each other to then charge higher prices to the people who commit to the college. It's just like, oh my God, you're killing me.
It's insane. Yeah, bro, it's insane. No, for real.
So, okay, imagine, I want you to put yourself in their shoes for a second.
Okay.
Like, let's say that we are one of these people who is about to go into pretty big debt at 18. So a bunch of kids just got into college the last few days. they are looking at a lot of different offers. They're deciding between the universities. They're saying to themselves, okay, I have some options here that maybe will be reasonably priced. Maybe I go to my local state school. I have maybe a chance to go to an Ivy League school, but it'll cost me, let's say, $200,000 to $300,000. I have other options in between. What are the questions you ask about the schools? What are the questions you ask to make a decision?
Yeah, 100%. That's such a good question. I always tell students the first thing they do when they get all of their packages, the first thing, you're gonna ask for more money. You have to. You're just gonna reach out and you're gonna have to try to negotiate your financial aid package. And especially when you just got in, that's a really good just strategy of saying this is my number one pick. The price tag though, with these family circumstances, doesn't make sense for us. Is there capacity here? A lot of these bigger schools are more receptive than you think to that. And even if it's just a few $1,000s, you can literally just get more money just for asking. I fully got more money just for asking.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you're going to do, because the first evaluation of all of your packages and the programs at those schools isn't the most accurate one. It's after you do this and you really understand the prices. And then genuinely, I think it is case by case with every student. If you're being offered, it really depends what you want to do. If you're being offered less money, but you want to do investment banking and you think you can pay off that debt within at least 3 to 4 years post-grad,
it's not that bad.
Potentially, it's not that bad. Bad.
Well, it also depends on the interest rate of the debt too.
100%. If you're doing loans, things and
how much compared to family's income.
100%.
So that's what I ask people too, because what you really want to do, and this is the math is called debt servicing, right? I think people don't think about that
because people can't balance if just depending on your career choices and things you want to do. If you can't actually balance it out. For a lot of students they don't think about that. They just assume once they get their degree they'll be making X amount of money that will go towards this debt, but they just get stuck in this loop and and you never catch up.
Right. And so that's the math you need to be running.
100%.
I usually tell people
100%.
I want you to imagine I need you to find actually the specific job you think you're going to have when you graduate.
That's exactly what I do as well.
Don't
That's extremely accurate.
Don't tell me, how much do you think you're going to make? Because everybody thinks you're going to make 150, 200K.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Right. But I want you to go look up some jobs right now. Okay. You want to be an electrical engineer. Okay. How much does an electrical engineer make? Maybe 120
in your city
when they graduate.
Exactly.
Okay. Not too bad. 120 is a decent salary.
How much debt are we looking at?
How much debt are we looking at?
What's the interest?
Exactly. And then just run those numbers. And there's calculators online, but most AI tools can help you do this.
And if the timeline isn't under 4 years, it doesn't make sense for you.
Well, okay.
That's what I say.
I say the same rule. You know that?
Bro,
I love that.
That's my guy.
Dude, I love that.
No,
I
for
love
real.
that. No, actually, because what I tell people is if you can't pay the debt off within 4 years aggressively, right?
Yeah.
Probably is a little bit too much debt for you.
Exactly.
Sometimes it takes longer. And by the way, that calculation would be different if it's a professional school. So if you tell me, okay, I'm going to debt for medical school, law school, I'm a lot more confident about that debt because there is a specific high-paying job you actually would get at the end of it. This is not pie in the sky.
30 years, but
So how many people change their career paths in undergrad?
Yeah, that too. Are you signing up for all this debt with the potential that the career that you want will pay it off, and then you choose a different career, or you do something else,
right?
Or you don't get in. It's just there's too many factors. Coupled with this being the worst job market we have seen within our lifetime, we're shot. It's sick. We're shot.
You really
we're
think
toast.
It's the worst?
We're fried. I do think it's the worst job market we've seen in our lifetime.
I think it's the worst job market. I think it's the best entrepreneurship market.
Oh, I agree.
And that's where I think people need to just change their perspective.
100%.
And because I'll tell you this, and I think you and I have noticed this because we're I guess on more of the bleeding edge of this. But if you wanted to start your own business today, it has never been easier.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Shopify exists.
100%.
The internet's out there. You can have unlimited distribution. I don't think people fully understand how impossible comparatively it was to start a business in the 90s. Interest rates were 13%. It's way lower now, actually. You used to have to put ads out in a freaking newspaper, okay? Or go door to door with people to do distribution, right? Today, you can just post a freaking TikTok, get millions of views for free.
Millions of people,
right.
Yeah.
So if you you can build products on your laptop. You need to hire software teams. It has never been easier to start your own company. So I think way more people should be looking into that, because even if you're not Elon Musk, let's say you're just a decent,
at least just to diversify a bit of their streams of income.
Have a side hustle.
Why not?
Yeah. And you could do that. And I think that makes this market way better.
100%.
Right.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that.
Because if you did that, I think you'd be way closer to being okay. Let's actually talk about that for a second, because I'd be curious. Let's say you're in college right now. You wanted to start a side hustle.
Hell yeah.
How would you do it?
Hell yeah. I mean, what I did in college, I was never in class. I was never in class. Like,
how'd you manage that?
It was a struggle. It was a struggle. Sacrifice some days. There was this one class. It's actually a really funny story. It would meet once a week. There were classes that would meet twice a week. There'd be an hour and a half, or once a week for 3 hours. And U Chicago changed its quarter system my second year from 10 weeks to 9 weeks. So you only had 9 classes and then finals. So if you only meet once a week, you only have 9 classes for the entire semester.
That's great.
So, I had already missed 2 or 3, give or take, for other opportunities like speaking engagements, stuff like that. And there was this one time I got like, who was it? I think it was Mentos or something. Like, I forget the brand of the gum. Wanted to fly me out to Ohio to talk to their like product teams, like counsel a bit.
That's awesome.
It was very random. They wanted like Gen Z perspective, social media, stuff like that. I was like, sure, what day is it? Like, oh, we'll fly you out Monday. I was like, and then you'll be here all day Tuesday. And I was like, oh, that's like when this one class I have to go to is. Like, oh, we can't do like any other day. I was like, all right, I'll do it. So then I email my professor, and I'm like, typically if I get a cool opportunity, I just tell them, like, speaking at Adweek, or I went to the Kentucky Derby with Red Bull, or
that's
like,
awesome.
just like, I need to fly home for this conference or whatever. And they're super receptive. And sometimes actually one of my professors was what I gave her the login, like the code for a free live stream. And she was watching me speak at Adweek.
Oh, sick.
That was really cool. But, so I just like felt like she wasn't a professor or educator at this point that would be super thrilled hearing another opportunity. Yeah. So I just made up an excuse. I said I was sick, and I do the briefing. I do the consulting with. I'm pretty sure it was Mentos, because they're the tube one, right?
Yeah.
But I forget what their P&G. I forget what their parent company is. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I'm in the airport. I'm going home on Tuesday. She doesn't respond to me. I'm going home on Tuesday. I never like check my story views, but like this, I was so bored. I was like, might as well going through my story views, and I'm like, all right, recognize that name. My professor was viewing my Instagram stories of me at whatever, an opportunity and not in class.
Oh, and I was she got you.
Listen. And I said I was sick.
She got you.
I would rather take the paycheck, lie to my professor, get caught because she's stalking my Instagram, than go to this class that met.
Oh, my God.
Once a week.
So what happened in the end?
So she never ended up responding. I did really like her, and I still did a lot of my work.
You passed
and
the
I
class?
just made sure I got an A- in the class. I still made sure to go to every class. That was one of the only classes I had a perfect score in at U Chicago. I had a full 100. All the exams, the essays, everything.
Okay.
All A's. The only class, one of the only ones, I got a full perfect 100 in U Chicago. She ends up giving me an A-. And listen, I barely went to the class, so I wasn't going to email her and ask why.
Yeah.
But then she ended up emailing me with a full like review, everything. She was like, you had some of like the best opinions. You had such great takes. I really enjoyed like reading your material. I just wish you were
actually there
to participate. And I was like, and I wish you weren't watching my Instagram story. It's sick. I did it. Also have another class. I don't know. It's weird to make, because you started making college content way past Stony Brook.
Yeah. So I started so for me, it came much more. So I was doing college consulting. I was helping kids get into these
during
colleges.
Like your freshman year, once they found out your story and everything.
Oh yeah, straight up from when I was 18.
Yeah.
So it was a long time coming, and so I had been doing this for forever.
The content came later.
Well, this is why I critique, by the way, a lot of like the college freshmen that try to get into this.
A lot of college freshmen do.
It's so freaking annoying.
A lot. It's so annoying.
Every year.
It's usually just regurgitated things, like super general, like 100%. Tips that aren't effective, or they copy the exact styles of people that are doing it right in this space.
Right. No, they'll rip off my videos,
so
and then I block them, and then like they'll make videos like Ivy Roadmap blocked me. It's like,
Because you're copying my videos.
You're copying my content, and you're just annoying. And like, I know you're going to be gone in like 6 months. 6 months exactly. So because you're going to get your internship offer after your freshman year, and then you're gone. Right. And reliably, like that has happened every year for years now, and it's going to happen this year too. We're having another bunch. I have to block another bunch. Like, oh, Ivy wrote my blog again. It's like, all right, great. You got your 15 minutes of fame. Congratulations. Enjoy. No, so annoying. But like, no, they'll do this, and like I had to earn my way in the space, and because I had been doing this offline without much credit, year in, year out for about a decade. And then I got to the point where I really felt I had a good system. And then I wrote my book somewhere here. But like,
it should be properly placed here.
Right? I literally should. It's somewhere here. It's okay.
Give me the book. I want a copy, by the way.
Our editor can add it in post. So like, here's the book. Okay. I love it.
Can you sign my copy?
No, literally, right?
Sign my copy.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'm done.
I wrote the book, and the book was a distillation of all the techniques and all like the unusual strategies that I had used with my clients for almost 10 years at that point. And then I started posting on TikTok and Instagram and started explaining to people what it was that I was doing that was getting all these kids in. And that was the thing. Because I was doing really well with all my clients, and it was consistent. And so I started explaining this to people. And then I found out after I started posting that apparently people were very upset at all the things that I was telling people to do. Like,
because they think college admissions is so linear, and there aren't these hacks or these things that actually work for students, and they get upset that it isn't applicable or they don't do it for themselves.
I think they think it's a soul searching thing.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So I think that there's a lot of people who get into these schools and they make that their entire self-worth. Right. So like, 100%. Imagine like your identity is like, I am the kid who got into Princeton.
Yeah.
And I am special and I am God's gift to the world because I got into Princeton. Right. But then I go and I tell you, well, in fact, the way you can actually get into Princeton is like this, and this. Now I'll improve your odds this much. You apply to 20 of these schools, randomly you get into one.
And they work, and suddenly he's not so special anymore.
Like, yeah, exactly. And so they realize like wait, like
I do. Oh my God.
My whole life is a game.
Oh my God. This. Oh, you just unlocked, bro.
Tell me.
Bro, this is a conversation I've been dying to have.
Okay.
I feel like I experienced this in more of the social setting at U Chicago.
Okay, tell me.
But in the opposite way.
Okay.
So, I mean, in the same capacity, I really worked myself throughout the space, and I would take classes at Pace University since my freshman year of high school,
awesome.
And I would just read college admissions case studies. Like this was what the CBO was meant to do, and I worked with a director for 4 years to build like the perfect application. That's why I got on so many fly-ins, got into the school with the Florida that I wanted to, knew how to negotiate aid, and then won a ton of scholarships.
Awesome.
So I just speak from personal experience, and like I continue to read up on case studies and like how, because the scene's very different than how it was even when I was applying. And one thing, like in this soul searching metaphor, you know, when you work so hard to get into a great school, when everyone there is a valedictorian, when everybody has been told for their entire lives, you are the best of the best, you are the cream of the crop, and you put them all in one space where suddenly you're all average.
Right.
You're all average.
It's a massive ego blow.
I've never seen so many people lash out. Just absolutely just smear other people. Like
100%.
Do obscene things just out of ego.
No. Can I tell you? It's not ego. I'm going to tell you. We think it's ego. It's a little bit of an ego blow.
Okay.
But what it is more than ego is clinical depression.
Wow.
So let me actually, this will be an interesting, for the neurology people, you'll be very interested in this. Your depression or non-depression in your brain is mediated by a neurotransmitter called serotonin, right? And if your serotonin is actually one of the most powerful chemicals in your brain, and your brain is always modulating it in proportion to your position in the status hierarchy. And so, you know, if you give someone an SSRI, what the SSRI is actually doing in practice is updating your serotonin index in your brain to make you feel high status or higher status than you were, right? To raise you in the hierarchy so that you feel up to competing again. Because if we feel like we're low in the hierarchy, that's when we start lashing out and we get violent and we compete, right? And people think, I'll give you an example. There's this misconception that being low income means you're more prone to violence. And that's not technically true. There's a lot of actually low income communities that are, I'll give you an example. Like when Greeks came over from Greece to New York, and I know this because with my own family, it was part of this wave, especially in the early 1920s and 30s and 40s, and especially in the 50s, actually, post World War II. Mostly they were very low income people. They worked in diners. So the Greek diner in New York City is it's a whole thing now, right? So they were super low income people when they first came over. Especially most of them came over with nothing, and none of them were criminals. None of them got violent. None of them got arrested. None of them had any problems assimilating because they were high status in their community, and they had bonds, and they were coherent, and they worked hard, and they saw themselves rising.
Right.
And so why would you lash out, right? Whereas today, where you see high violence, you probably saw this in Chicago, it's because you have a lot of people in low status communities where they don't see themselves rising, they don't see a way out. And then, regardless of their actual like absolute wealth level, then they become violent. The same thing happens, believe it or not, at Ivy League and like similar top universities, right?
Which is insane. Like,
no, because you have the same thing in your brain.
Yeah, I mean,
because you probably felt low because you in your high school, you're top dog. You got into Chicago.
So yeah, it just at the time I was blowing up on social media, and like a lot of things were happening outside of Chicago,
and so you don't care.
I didn't care, and I was never on campus, and I just like I was
you're not part of their status hierarchy.
But yeah, like I saw the way in which it really like impacted a lot of my like friends and just the community. When you take a step back, I was never on campus. Like
I don't blame you.
And
you were insulated because of it, right? So your status hierarchy, what was in your brain, your serotonin, was mediated by your success in social media and in business.
Well, now like I think what it gave me is, I mean, I love all my friends at Chicago, and they're like it gave me a chance to really understand people for like what they really want to do, and what like how they truly want to be like impactful in the world. And one of my good friends from Chicago, shout out. His name is Xander Hastings. He's been building out this platform. It's called Scholarly. It's meant to help students with college admissions a bit.
Cool.
But more of like it's kind of like a cameo, but for college admissions. So you get to actually talk to students and like hear perspectives and like
that's interesting.
Ask them questions. Like, and it's less about like just the regurgitated, like, like just give me your essay and I'll help. It's more of like, cause we see that a lot.
Yeah.
It's more of like, let me just connect you. And he was on Survivor season 41.
Oh, really?
He was a finalist. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Good for him. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And now he's like, and he was in sort of that isolated bucket, and now he gets to like build out his dream, and he gets to be impactful, and he wasn't wrapped up in the social scene of these institutions.
It sounds like he's very creative.
Yeah,
right?
He is.
And
he'd be a good person for the pod.
I wouldn't mind it, actually. Yeah.
He lives in Florida, actually.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, we should totally have him on that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, well, you can connect me after. I'd love to. But but this is what I'm trying to say, because the people will show up on the campus, and you were top dog in your high school. You're valedictorians, like half of them, right? And they show up on the campus, and now they're not top dog anymore.
They're just
and
average.
I think they literally become clinically depressed.
Yes, they do. That's where fun goes to die. That's why it's a lot of these schools, like students take their lives, and it's no one talks about it enough. It's obscene.
It's really sad, and we don't realize that we're doing this to these kids. We're putting them in a situation where they all become mentally ill, and what happens is then you have collective mass hysterias, right? And I think that's why, for example, like I'll have multiple Harvard students screaming and threatening me in my DMs because
you said, God forbid someone doesn't go to Harvard.
No, because God forbid they don't all get A's, right? Right? Yeah, and I'll say that, and they'll come in and they will yell at me.
When you attack something that matters so much to their worth of self, like just getting an A, being in Harvard, they take it so insanely personal. They're going to send you your address. They're going to give you a death threat
because they're depressed to begin with. Right.
Wow, I've never thought about it like this.
No, seriously, it's crazy. And so I've been saying for a while, like what we need for these colleges, to be honest, like there's a lot of people. And for example, I never experienced this in college, because when I went to college, I got, in a lot of ways, I got to still be in like a higher echelon within the
I
college.
mean, you were like creating physics.
Yeah, and I got to go make new things. And so I wasn't really like paying attention that much to whatever the social stuff was in my college either. So I didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. It's like the people who go to college and then actually get caught up in all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, it's
toxic.
It's detrimental. Like I would never do it again. Like it's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So I want to wrap up here with some final advice. So, I like to ask this question a lot because I think it really orients us well. But let's talk to young Youssef. Okay. Let's say you had a way to give yourself a talk at 17, maybe, talking to other kids like yourself in that stage.
Oh my God.
What would you be advising them to do? They're, all applying to college. They're about to make these kinds of decisions, about to go into a very confusing space. What would you be telling them?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I would say like I would say so much. Like the world felt so big. The world felt so big at 17. It felt like it was never like I would just say never get the experiences that I have now. And I kind of wish like I bet more on myself when I was 17. Like I was very linear, very tunnel vision on this one dream, and it's like just like being the first in my family to get to go to an insane school, and like being like getting a full ride at that when I know we wouldn't have been able to afford like a penny of it, and doing well and like getting to take care of them. And there's also this weird like dynamic of like you start to make money and like you make more now than your mom has ever made in her life, and it's like
That's crazy.
but that doesn't like always make you feel the best, and it's like how do you navigate that? And it's just like the world is a lot smaller than you think. And when you bet on yourself, you bet on the people around you in your community. And I don't regret anything. I live by that motto. I will never regret doing something or not doing something, because I firmly believe everything happens for a reason. And I think that Chicago and applying to college was a lot more formative for me than even like when I was a teenager. And I just wish someone told 17-year-old Youssef just to bet on himself. Like don't stress it too much. And all the kids out there like applying to schools, go for it. Like shoot your shot and don't stop until you get what you want. But be kind, help your family, do your thing, and the world will get a lot smaller.
And apply for scholarships.
Scholarships right now that you need to apply to. Part 3. Guys, we just wait for Andreas and I's scholarship open now video coming out.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
It's
going to be really
good.
fun.
So this person say, do you provide career counseling, profile building session, or just these videos?
Okay, so do we do career counseling, profile building? So personally, what I do is I wear a few hats, but I have a very small selective admissions advising program where I take 50 students in total. And so I guide them through the entire admissions process. And then I do a lot of work with graduate admissions too. So definitely career counseling is part of it for me. But yeah, that's what I do outside of the social media stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm by yourself.
Bro, grad school's more untouched. I love that you do that. I do more like scholarship support, personalized scholarship resources. And did we get a funny question? And okay, read it out. It's like, but if you want support, DM.
Is Northwestern a good school?
Is Northwestern a good school?
They're just trying to get under your skin, man. Well, they can ask me about Bing next. Like
Bing and Chicago are better than Stony Brook. Northwestern is actually playing. Northwestern is actually like a really. It's a great school, of course.
Yeah, of course.
I am biased to Chicago. Northwestern, I think, has some better programs and a better like social and community life. But
they're both awesome.
A funny story is I was a tour guide at Chicago, and one day like half of the tour guides Ubered to Northwestern, and we put on like book bags and glasses and stuff. We pretended like we were prospective students to see how they did their tours. And then we took a bunch of their like free stuff, and then we ran back. It was
phenomenal. Okay, great. What else?
Thought on Boston University. I just got in.
Oh, congrats.
I don't really think about it, to be honest with you. I'm messing with you. It's a good college.
It's a good school. They're not the best with financial aid, but
no, here's the caution. I would not be paying full price for BU. So if that's what you're asking, like, is it worth that? Definitely not. definitely not.
But it's getting up there. It's getting better and better. And BC's a better school. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it is. And by a large margin, because it's smaller, I think.
What do you think about AP capstone diploma?
What do we think about the AP capstone diploma? I think it's a complete waste of time. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, I said better myself.
Yeah, like I'm not going to mince words about this. So the AP capstone diploma was created because the College Board decided they wanted to compete with IB.
Yeah.
And the problem is you can't, because like it's not really meant to be a coherent curriculum.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like AP classes are meant to be standalone classes that give you the equivalent of college credit.
Exactly.
And the IB diploma system is a whole different game. So, I mean, they're not meant to compete with each other, and it's fine for them to be different.
I think it's useless. Yeah.
Totally useless. Yeah. 100%. And they make you have you ever did you take AP seminar in high school?
I didn't take seminar. No. I took like 10 APs.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing when I was in high school, thank God. But like I see like some of my students do it. It's like the dumbest freaking thing in the world. So stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And if you want to do it, you do it, but whatever.
Waste of time.
As an international student trying to major in engineering, I have some company certification from the US that does hold any merit.
Oh,
does it hold any merit? Okay.
Yeah.
International student looking to apply to US schools?
Yeah. If you already have certifications from some of the companies, like, I mean, like, I think he's probably talking about the Google Cloud certifications.
100%.
Yeah,
those definitely include all of those like certification stuff. Is like it's also good to know like what you're doing. Like I think that's also like indicative of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So it shows your passions and stuff.
It shows domain specific competencies. So by all means, run with it.
The next one is result of IV counseling. When will it come out?
Oh yeah. So he's asking like if you applied to like work with me in my program, like when is that going to come out? So it takes us a few weeks to review the application. So believe it or not, like in the last 2 days, we've had over 2,000 people apply to work with me in my program.
Guys, apply ASAP.
It's gotten crazy, and we're talking about like it's that many people for. I think I have like we're gonna have maybe 8 open spots now.
Your classes are starting to be more selective than the actual IVs themselves.
Oh, it's way more selective. No, it is. It's
That's
crazy.
Sick. No,
well, and it's because just to be clear. Like it's not like that doesn't mean that I only take like finished products. It's not people come to me and like I work with people from wherever they are. The thing that matters to me when a student's applying is, are you serious about
100%,
actually making a difference in your, because people aren't.
What would like differentiate a student that you feel like took the most advantage out of your counseling versus a student that just kind of did it just to do it?
Yeah, 100%. Well, there's a few levels of this, but I think a lot of it is just humility as a personality trait. It's like, okay, you're going to come into the counseling program, and most of the time when you start working with me, I'm going to be giving you a laundry list of things you're doing wrong. And I'm not saying that to like make you feel bad. It's just you have to get this stuff fixed for you to have a better outcome. Okay. And some people will look at that and say, oh, I don't feel like doing all that. Like, oh, it's too much.
Wow.
Because I ask these questions in the interviews too. I'm like, I am going to do this. So I warn them. But then, but then they'll still get into the program, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I don't want it. That's like a lot of work. And I'm like,
right, bro, guys, include that in your applications, bro. Include exactly what you said in your applications.
No, like for real. Like, And so they'll come into the program, or worse yet, they'll interview for the program, and they don't even know who I am or what it is. Right? They just like saw it on TikTok. And like, and they're like, oh, like so, what's the price? We can just buy it now, right? I'm like, no, like this is like a tiny program. Like we have to maybe see if we can offer it to you, and even then, it's like, it's not a la carte. So again, if you want a la carte services, if you want to just find like whatever,
those are out there.
Crimson's out there, like go bother them. Like for God's sake, like there's a very specific cohort of people who really get a lot out of working with me, and it's people who are committed and who actually want it. And if you are in that category, then I think you're going to love working with our program. But
yeah. People only have good things to say about it. So
it's been I gotta say, especially like this year, it's been a record year, man.
Yeah,
it's been
so happy.
It's been
clean sweeps. It
was crazy. So we had a couple kids where unfortunately like it didn't work out, but like it was minority, a very small minority. And even they got into some good places. So like everybody like is pretty happy in the end, but like, especially of the students who like really followed. We had nobody who actually followed like all of my advice, and everything was like set up structurally well. And it didn't work out. So like that part is, it's a relief, honestly.
So sick.
I'm a transfer with a banger's essay and nothing else going aside from not applying for financial aid. What are my chances for Princeton, NYU, and Cornell?
So,
Well,
just to recap, though, transfer with a banger essay, nothing else going for me.
Right.
Except
Cornell, Princeton, NYU.
What are my
not
odds?
applying to federal- Well, actually, those schools have been starting to take more and more transfer students.
They have.
But also, there are some like pretty big like transfer specific scholarships out there that transfer students don't realize. Like you think just because you're transferring, you can only do financial aid. But if you don't want to apply for financial aid, don't apply for financial aid. But there are scholarships out there as well. Like
Which ones?
Jack Kent Cook has a transfer scholarship that's
awesome.
open past like the undergrad scholarship. I just saw one recently. I'm blanking on the name, but there's a lot out there. Yeah,
I love that.
but
Okay.
odds specifically,
not a chance in hell. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if you have nothing else going for you, right now,
a banger essay.
Yeah, no. But I will say this, like, okay, I'm just being blunt. Like, it's the truth. Here's the thing. Like, if you're a transfer student, you need to have a few things going for you. So you need to have likely a near 4.0 GPA, if not 4.0. So you need to have great GPA, really challenge yourself with your coursework at the college you're currently attending, relationships with your professors. You need to be going to office hours, building those relationships, getting letters of rec. You need to then also have the essays and likely do a project outside of school that would demonstrate your competency. And if you have all of that,
it's still hard. On top of that, you need to have a clear and concise like storyline of why you want to even transfer and why that school specifically is one.
I couldn't
you
have said that.
out.
It's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing, and they're mostly missing that.
Yeah, they just like they're not having a good time at the current school that they're at, so they want to switch institutions.
Dude, it's a great. So I had a student come on my live on TikTok the other day. And a good kid too. Like, so shout out Kaya if you see this. But like, but he has an ED. He got into Columbia, and he's trying to transfer to Harvard.
Okay.
And he's like, like, how do I do that? I'm like, you probably don't. Like, unless they kicked you out, unless there's like a really good reason why you're hoping to transfer to Harvard.
Right.
Like, the first question Harvard's going to ask you is like, okay, so
why not Columbia?
Yeah, like what are you going to do here that you couldn't do at Columbia? And I'm going to be honest, like the answer is like nothing.
Yeah,
like they have like pretty much
this. Be a good answer.
It has to be really good. It has to be like maybe like you have a family member that's ill. They have to take care of who's in the Boston area, so you can't be in New York.
Yeah,
right. Something like that. Okay, fine.
Like there's a specific niche professor project.
Right.
Yeah.
It has to be really persuasive to transfer between already high level institutions. Now you have better odds if you're coming from like a community college, believe it or not, because the community college ends up for 2 years. Like, why do you want to transfer? Well, because I have nowhere else to go.
Easy. Exactly. No. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like it's ironic, but they have better odds by a lot. In fact.
So the to sum it up, it's transfer to a community college, then transfer back into a institution.
Don't do that. But I love the enthusiasm.
Columbia, Kingsborough, Harvard.
Perfect. That's the new meta. Okay, that's the new meta.
The next one, should I stay local for undergrad if I plan to apply to law school at U Chicago?
Ooh. Well, what does staying local have to do about your odds with U Chicago law? Because U Chicago law is very competitive.
Yeah, we should probably divide this into a few categories if we're going to answer. So they're asking, should I stay local if my goal is to end up at U Chicago for
like law? If you're going to end up paying U Chicago law tuition, or that's the hope is to get in and start paying.
Well, there's a lot of levels to this, right? So I think the first thing is like the admissions question. It's like, first off, like we should divide it. And first off, what does local mean? Does local mean local within the U.S., as in like I'm going to an in-state state school, versus does local mean I'm going to be out of the U.S.? Yeah. Now, my suggestion would be undergrad in the U.S. because law schools in the U.S. are going to favor you for if you have your undergrad 100%. In the U.S. Hands down, especially a school like U Chicago. Also, if you're the country you happen to live in, they don't speak English. Getting extra familiarity with the language will help you a lot. Yeah. That's the admission side. The financial side is a whole secondary question. Yeah. That's a different thing.
Law school is very expensive, and then schools like U Chicago for undergrad are an arm and a leg.
100%. And
so doing all of that.
Well, I will tell you this though. You know that law schools give crazy scholarships if you have a good score in your LSAT.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with not necessarily going to Chicago specifically, if you're okay with going to like a little bit lower law school. So I had, back in the day, I got a 175 on my LSAT.
Oh yeah.
And so I got full scholarships. I applied to a bunch of law schools. I almost went to law school at one point.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, you're telling me.
I got into like half a dozen law schools, full rides to all of them.
Jesus.
And so I could have gone to law school for free. It still wasn't cheap enough.
Yeah.
To be honest,
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane.
no, free law schools. It was a
So
bad.
would you recommend doing like just a more affordable state school, but really spend the time like trying to get the highest LSAT score you can? If your end goal is use Chicago law.
Well, I think you should ask yourself if you even want to be a lawyer in the first place.
I agree with this. I agree with this.
Which is the real question here, and the reason that's why I was saying before, because like I still turned down law school regardless because it really was not enough, right? And now that being said, could you get more? I mean, if you saved your money in your undergrad, would it be easier to pay for it? Even if you did have to pay, yeah, absolutely. I tell people that for med school too. Like, I don't mind people going into debt as much for like med school or law school if you're going to go into debt,
because it will be.
At least you might get hired after.
There's
a reasonable chance. You have a professional degree.
Sense, yeah. But these schools where they're charging $100,000 per year, and then the job market is just like
it's not even there.
It's not even there. Yeah, it doesn't even exist.
Even highly ranked schools, like depending on your degree, like no offense, like you get an English degree from Harvard. If you're not working, like, well, what are you going to do exactly with that?
So then you're just unemployed, and then the interest is just the debt's just building and building. So does it even make sense? To spend that much on an insane degree if it's not paying out almost immediately, if the debt is that high?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. All right, next one.
Can I get into IV without a push? If I have AP Bio honor classes, A push and AP Bio is AP offered this year.
Can I get to an IV
without a push?
Without a push.
But they have a pretty rigorous science.
Yes, they have honors
chem, yeah.
AP Bio.
I mean, you might have a different opinion than me. I'm like, I don't think one AP is gonna kill you or not. What I will say, like, this is getting really, really niche. Like, if you're into this, like, first of all, like, this is case by case. Like, one class isn't gonna make or break you. But just to say, if your school profile, which is sent with your application, says everyone in your class takes a push, and in your application you're not taking a push, that might say something, but I don't think that would be like a final decision. I mean, like my school profile said almost no one takes APs. The most anyone took at the time was 9. I ended up finishing with 10. So that was like a huge.
It's a big deal.
When I read my application back with the admissions notes, that was one of the things they noted was he took the most APs in his graduating class. Yeah. So they take note of it. I don't think they would be like, oh, he took AP Psych instead of AP Gov, but. Yeah, so taking APs.
It's definitely a factor as far as that goes. The one thing I want to caution you with is I don't know if this question is asking this, but like I get people asking me a lot for permission to do less.
That's so real. That's so real. Yeah,
it's really annoying.
Yeah, they want more for less. Yeah.
No, they come on. They're like, what's the minimum SAT score I can get into Harvard? Like not like the minimum that like you think I should get, but like the lowest you've ever seen. Okay, get into Harvard. And I'm just like you are really like approaching this the wrong way.
Right, exactly.
Right? And so what you should be asking is like, how can I challenge myself to the absolute max?
100%.
Now, whatever that happens to be. Like if you know that if for a fact, if you take extra stuff, you're going to bomb it. Okay, fine. Yeah. Like, but beyond that, like
take the bet on yourself.
Just exactly. Bet on yourself, push yourself 100%.
Do you think being lab assistant at bio lab is a good even if you don't get publication?
Ooh, so do you think being a lab assistant in a biology lab is good even if you don't get publication?
For high school students or for college students?
High school students, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are some college students that are lab assistants that still don't get any publications.
That's a good point.
But if you're looking for like med school, you need like a bunch of publications to like be competitive. Mm-hmm. But high school, that's a great. Yeah, it's a great extra.
I think it's wonderful for both. Especially if you're a high school student applying, the publication doesn't matter as much as the paper being written. I will caution people with that. It does help a lot to actually have a paper, like a substantial paper by the time you apply. Now, the publication process can take a long time. Like when I was in high school, I started doing research when I was very young. And, we had a bunch of papers that were submitted when I was like 15 that didn't get published until I was 19, right? And like that sort of thing happens. It's a real thing in the sciences. So like, is that always the case? No, hopefully they follow like faster timelines and stuff. But like, if you at least have a paper, what happens is you can submit a research supplement along with your application that contains a research abstract.
That's such a good point.
Right. And so that gets sent to professors at the university and they can review that. And that becomes just like legit extra points on your application. Like when I say extra points, I'm not like exaggerating when I tell you that. I mean, like literally it is extra points on the application. Right. And so
That's such a good point. Yeah.
yeah. And so like at that point, yeah, sure. That would help you a lot. I would totally do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this one say, I am a national chess champion, 3.95 GPA, all honors. I am sophomore and haven't taken SAT. I wanted to get to Stanford, also have a legacy. What SAT is the minimum I need?
Bro.
The minimum. I would actually be so curious to have
why don't we recap that real quick? Just because make sure people hear it. So that the question was that it was a student with a 3.95 GPA, national chess champion,
no SAT, legacy at
Stanford, wants to get in and wants to know both what his odds are and then what is the absolute bare minimum SAT he can take to get in. It's like
I would be very curious to like read a college essay.
Terrible odds.
Terrible odds. You're done.
You're getting rejected. Rejected.
Actually,
you're fired. Okay, fired.
Actually,
you're fired.
I don't think you're fired. You're fired. I don't think he'll even make it past high school. I think he won't even graduate high school. No. I'd be curious.
Just messing with you, bro.
Yeah. I'd be curious to read like a Queen's Gambit chess themed essay, college essay.
It'd be cool.
About whatever. Not about like winning like nationals, but something. Yeah. Something about it. I think that'd be cool. What was your college essay? I asked you.
So it was funny actually.
We'll answer this in a sec.
Yeah. I wrote about the intersection between physics and finance. Okay. At the time I really wanted to be a quant. Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I wanted to create predictive markets, and one of the things that I thought was like really cool was like using physics to like predict stuff like years into the future, and how it kind of felt like having magic powers.
I would love to read your college essay.
I'll have to dig it up.
Yeah, can you please do so?
I had a couple. I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't that good. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I want to like review it.
It's funny in retrospect. I got in spite of my essay, right? Which is cool, and I can acknowledge that. And when I help students with their essays, I'm just like I have a sample now of essays that my clients wrote that I think are phenomenal that I coach them on. It's never mine. Right, it's never mine.
I want to read your essay so bad now.
I'll put it out there at some point. I mean, it's really unimpressive. I promise you. Like if you read my college essay, you would not think that I'd be who I am today. So it's and again, like it's testament to the fact that when you are, and this is actually something we were talking about before too. When you're a high school kid who like just gets into one of these schools, you should shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. Do not go around giving people advice on admissions because you do not know what got you in. There are a very large contingent of these kids who did not get in. They get in spite of
the things that they are saying is the reason why they got exactly.
You don't know why you got in. Even 100%. If you read the application file, you still don't
redacted. Know. Yeah, you don't always know. 100%.
You still don't know. You don't know what conversation was happening like low key in the room when they were making the decision. So like, no, not worth it.
Okay, so what are these kids' odds?
I think that like asking about odds is like a stupid question to begin with. I agree. So and here's why. And I don't mean this to be insulting. What I mean is that
you never know.
Are you going to change your strategy because I tell you your odds are 10% or 20?
Right. And the same thing that can get you in 1 year is not the same thing that can get you in with a different class. Like it's
no one
so
would
dependent.
know. Like all these chance me things on Reddit. Oh my, it's so dumb.
Freaking what 38% or
bro? It's the blind leading the blind.
I agree.
Like and so what you really should be asking is like, what is the maximum I can do to both show that I'm qualified and pursue my interests?
Yeah.
And so like, okay, what's the minimum SAT? Like. Bro, you should be getting the maximum on your SAT.
He's definitely trying to rage bait. No, but I think this kid's on the right track. Like I mean, is already
he's
like
doing
competitive.
Stuff.
Has someone in the family that has gone into Stanford, so it's not
right. I just don't like the philosophy of it.
Yeah.
but otherwise,
like
materially, he's doing the right things.
Yeah, just keep doing that.
Yeah. Next one.
Okay, this one say how to start ECS for Ivy.
How to start your extracurriculars for Ivy League schools. What do you think? Actually, how did you start back in the day?
I mean, like start like from freshman year, or like on the physical application.
Let's do the actual actions. No, the application is like too straightforward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like I did a bunch of different things in high school.
How'd you do it?
But I I just literally just would sign up for everything until like I kind of figured out what I liked. I started I tried to theme it out. So I grouped all my extracurriculars, and I don't know if this is part of the reason why I got into Chicago, but
Yeah.
I grouped it in based off my passion. So I had 3 that were relevant to community service, that were more niche than your average National Honor Society or community service club, like BS.
Right.
But and then I had like 3 that were more centered around law. So I did moot court, I did mock trial. I was like the most random things you wouldn't even think are included in what you can write in extracurriculars. Like I would sit in on city council meetings just as like a viewer, because you could you can do that for free, and I put that down as an extracurricular because it took up a lot of my time. So I put that in the law bucket, and then the third bucket is the theme is escaping me, but it was all like relevant things to each other. And then I had one sort of niche one, which was my first extracurricular, which was being a home care attendant for my brother who had cerebral palsy. Like everything you do outside of school counts as an extracurricular on this application. And it's not even just like...
Before you continue, did you write about that in your essays too?
No, my essay was very different, but it was about one of my extracurriculars.
What was it about? I'm curious.
It was about cheerleading.
You cheerleaded?
I did cheerlead.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the first male cheerleader at my high school since its inception, 1942.
So interesting.
Yeah, so it was about that. But then I also made it on the baseball team, so it drew some parallels of like, the cheerleader, but also on the baseball team, like just like could do something just like because he wants to try it, but it's like not that deep. But also it's a high school, 5,000 kids, no one ever did this. And then another guy ended up joining the team like a year after, so that was like sort of the end of the essay. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good. I started with like this one man stunt and cheer, like just one guy holding up a girl.
Right.
So then like that's how I started it, like about the scale, and then I ended it like I was the one man holding up the whatever this community that allowed people to join or.
Oh, I love
that.
that.
It was cool. It was cool. Yeah. But I didn't actually. Maybe you disagree with me.
Yeah.
So I just put. Like I included cheer in my extracurriculars, but at the bottom I didn't include it at the top because I already spent so much time talking about it. I didn't want it to take up as much time. Like, I mean, I was very particular about how I even wrote about each, like the 30 words we get to write about each of them. Like
you have to be so careful.
I was using all of them.
No, you did the absolute right thing, and it worked out for a good reason. I mean, like when it comes to these things, I mean, especially if you have a very unique thing like that, it's a more unusual one. Exactly. Especially because you're on like both those teams too, and so this is what I try to explain to people, that when admissions officers are like looking at your activities, they're skimming activities.
Oh, for sure.
And so a lot of people think that because I mentioned something in my activities, I should never talk about it again in my essays, and it's like, no, you actually have to. Like, and maybe it wasn't your top activity. Maybe you didn't want to make the main thing.
Yeah, I included it so there was a consistency, but I didn't think about that.
No, but you have to like mention them at least a couple times because otherwise they don't have the emotional context for the activity. Right? They're not going to get that out of 30 words. Right? I mean, you probably had a lot of deep reasons, and it sounds like a really interesting essay that you made out of talking about the experience. That's a really great way to explore it. So, but just to build off what Youssef said, I mean, those are great answers. I mean, like you explore things at first, you group them according to your interests, you describe them in your application. That's the strategy. Perfect.
Oh yeah.
I got into the UW in 10th grade under EEP. My goal is MIT. Should I take it? And transfers.
Ooh. I got into UW, I think he means University of Washington, in 10th grade under EEP. Should I take this and then try to transfer it to MIT?
Yes.
Okay. You could.
Do you want to?
Is it worth it? I don't know. Like, you're already at UW. I mean, like, it depends on, like, what you're studying there, too. Like, if you're studying engineering already, like, it's a pretty good school. If it depends. Generally speaking, the top colleges, I don't know if you knew this, top colleges don't like it when you graduate early.
Really?
Yeah, they really don't. And I don't think it's on purpose. I don't think they like look at you like, okay, you graduated early, we're going to reject you. I think what happens is by default, because you graduated early, you have less time to work on a lot of the extracurricular projects and other achievements that people will have when they're applying. And so when you're applying alongside people who are seniors, because they're applying in the same pool as you.
They have 4 years of lengthy experience.
They had way more time than you to work on their extracurriculars. And so you're going to end up really coming up short. So I generally tell people, like, if you're a child prodigy and you have to start college early, you're probably not going to an Ivy. You're probably not. Like the stories of people who are like, at MIT at 14, it usually doesn't happen, right? Because of what the admissions criteria are for a school like MIT. Obviously, there are exceptions to these things. People are going to go bombard me like, oh, I know this one kid who did whatever. Okay, yes, I get it. But like
Exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, always exceptions, but 99% of the time, no. 99% of the time,
that's true.
and I have a few of my clients who are like legitimate child prodigies. Like one of my students was competing in math Olympiads when he was like 10.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. And so like he's actually probably not going to an Ivy.
Yeah.
He exhausted his curriculum in his high school. Like realistically, we're probably going to try to get him into like a public school in state because he's still so young. We want to keep him at home if we can. Right. So
yeah, because you would graduate and you wouldn't even, like at 14, you might not even be 18.
Oh, no, they're definitely not 18. And even this kid graduating in 10th grade. So like totally not 18. Like you're going to go there and like you're not even going to be able to do much. Like you're just going to like
go to class.
like it's
Can even a minor like dorm with like a college freshman that's 18?
it gets tricky. It gets tricky. It really does.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
No, I'm telling you, it becomes like logistically, it becomes a real problem. And so this is why, like in the vast majority of cases, when students graduate early, it's just better for them to just stay somewhere local for a bit.
Right. Interesting.
Next one.
Okay, this one say, is Inspirit AI a good summer program for me?
I don't know. So the question was, is Inspirit AI a good summer program for me?
She is currently in YP4 and will be entering in YP5.
Okay, so like 9th, 10th grade-ish.
Yeah. Actually, I have no idea.
I've never heard of Inspirit AI before, so I don't know about the program in particular. A word of caution about summer programs, I think you should ask yourself.
Listen to this.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself why you're doing the program. Because if you're doing the program for educational purposes,
right,
that works out sometimes, right? So a lot of these programs are in fact educational. I don't mind that. However, most of the time the programs are charging like $7,000-8,000 for an educational program. Most people would not pay that for an educational program. The reason why they pay that is because the program convinced them it's going to help them get into college.
Which is insane.
Which it doesn't do. Okay, so
nothing can guarantee that.
Yeah, nothing can guarantee that. I mean, those programs, generally speaking, because they're like the same thing that like 100 other people are doing, it doesn't even help, right?
Everyone has its own program, yeah.
Literally. So, like, what you really should be asking yourself is, what can I do that would help me stand out or build good skills? I mean, most of the time, if you just go take a class at a community college, it costs a few $100.
Yeah.
You'll learn better skills, and it'll be more interesting and educational, and it's cheap. Right.
Yeah.
So I would just do something like that.
What I will say is there are some programs like Yale Young Global Scholars, like LEADA, Young Leader Summit,
MIT's RSI.
Yes, that actually, I talked to a Princeton rep about LEADA because originally it was hosted at LEADA, and I asked him bluntly, I was like, does it actually help like get into admissions? Like you're on campus, like you're working with them actively, and he said yeah. And I was at Young Leader Summit, and then I got into Chicago. Like I took the time to find my admissions counselors, talk to them, like those. But none of those you're paying for. If anything, they're paying you.
That's a really good rule of thumb, by the way. Like Yale Young Global Scholars, I think would be an exception to this because it ends up being a relatively expensive thing, which is still a good program. Yeah. But like as a rule, the really good programs, the really good ones, are free.
Oh yeah, or paying you. Yeah,
or paying you. Right? Yeah. And if you're paying them, you should be asking lots of questions. That's all I'll say about that.
It's a self-independent literature review paper that published a good for college apps.
Okay, so I think the question was like, is it
self-independent?
I think he means like independent research, perhaps.
Okay,
is that what they mean?
Paper, yeah,
I think so. Right, yeah. So they're asking, is independent research something that you do yourself and then publish it yourself good for college apps? No. To be honest, no.
I love how blunt you are.
And I'm going to say this. I know it's the truth. Okay, so I'm going to level with you guys. Okay,
do it.
You are probably listening to this. You're 15, 16. You're not a scientist. You don't know how to do research. Why do you think you know how to do research? If you were an undergrad, if you were 20, 22, guess what? You still don't know how to do research. You have a bachelor's degree. You still need a mentor. Guess what? You're 23. You have a master's degree. You still don't know how to do research. Okay? That's why you go for a PhD. Okay? So if all of those people at all those levels still need a mentor, what on earth makes you think that you can do the research independently?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can't. But what you can do independently, and this is what these kids do, is write something called typically like a literature review or meta-analysis, which is a glorified summary of other research papers. And here's where they are very arrogant and they get confused. Because when a PhD, a professional researcher in the field, does a literature review, that is an expert overview of existing literature where they offer their opinion on top of the science, and they're trying to make a lot of different results make sense in context, which is a valuable thing for the field. It's still not original research. Like, people acknowledge that, but it's a valuable element of scientific research.
Yeah.
When a high school kid offers their half-baked opinion after reading 20 research papers, this is a complete waste of our time. Okay. And the colleges know it. And when you send that paper, because what happens is when you send your research paper into the college, you think that an admissions officer is reading it.
I think it's really cool. That's the thing is there's still no value prop if you do it, because it just still doesn't make you special. Like, it sounds really cool, but there are actually a lot of students that do it, and it doesn't make you stand out anymore. If this is something, even if it was like poor quality or like, you know, it is half baked, like, it would at least show like, you know, some initiative or like you're passionate about something. But if everyone's doing it and it's just not,
it's become ubiquitous.
100%.
Because the thing is, like, I think everybody gets themselves into like a self-aggrandizing loop, and like there are these high schools that tout themselves for having research programs, and the research program is literally teaching kids how to do these garbage meta-analyses, right? And like, they're not really doing research. They're not bothering to get mentors. They're not learning anything, and they're wasting everyone's time. But they're, you know, blowing these kids with heads full of hot air and smoke, whatever, and they make them think they did so much. But the reason I say is because like, eventually when you apply to college, you'll submit that research supplement, and that your actual paper, whatever you wrote, is going to go into the college, and it's going to go to an actual professor who's a real scientist, and they're going to take one look at this and say, oh, this is a meta-analysis written by a high school kid.
Cool. Yeah.
Like bye. And like,
yeah, for real.
And I know this because I worked in physics research for 7 years. Okay, so listen to me when I'm telling you this. It's not real. All right, sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
No, that was so good.
Thank you.
You still don't know how to do research.
Bro, like, I can't. Because you know how many thousands of hours I had to spend in the lab busting my ass and getting reamed. I used to get reamed by my mentor, learning in the process and making mistake after mistake after mistake for years before I dared to take on a project on my own.
Right.
And then it's like, because that's what it actually takes.
Right. No,
it's
that's
not,
so real.
If it was so easy, everybody would be a freaking physicist, man.
Exactly.
Okay?
I don't even know how you did all that, and especially at 14.
It sucked, bro.
That's crazy.
It was good. It was good, but like, I'm just being honest. It is a level of suck that most people are not willing to take on.
Yeah. I mean, it led you to your full ride at Stony Brook, so
thank God.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay. This person said, is it a good idea to write multiple college essay with a different topic for different college to see what stick?
Oh, that's interesting. Is it a good idea to write multiple college essays with a different topic for each college? What do you think?
That's a really good question. So a while ago, I read this case study about this college advisor who would suggest to his students that they should write one main college essay and then write a second college essay and put that essay in the additional information section, which I thought was insane. Like, submit one application with two different college essays.
That's generally going to backfire.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah, that's pretty much always going to backfire.
I mean, it's just like, literally, that's not what the section's purpose is. I'm not saying this is that case, but that's not what the section's purpose is
not
for.
Remotely.
And it's no one's going to want to read that.
100%.
Now, with this circumstance, I mean, like, students have, honestly, infinite time to do these college essays if they get ahead of it. It's not when Common App opens on August 1st, because you can start the application as early as you want.
They barely change the questions.
And then it rolls over.
Yeah.
I mean, the last option is write whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you can start working on it, and then once August 1st goes around, click the thing to turn over, and then you're in your proper application season. You don't have to start August 1st. Now, if you feel like, I don't know, if you feel like you can, I would suggest you do different essays that are tailored to schools for the supplemental essays.
Yes,
but I think your main college essay should be a story that you're developing and you know how to tell really well, and then spend your time telling different and better stories for the supplemental essays and for your interviews.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I won't die on the hill of just one college essay, but I just think it's a waste of time.
Oh, I'll die on the hill for a different reason.
Okay.
I will actually die on this hill because if you are at the point where you have multiple essays and you can't decide, like, there isn't an obvious winner, that means
good.
Yeah, no, that means both your essays suck, actually. That's what it actually means.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
That's actually what it means. I mean, it means both your essays suck. You didn't take enough time to edit them, right? Because if you actually were going deep enough, there would be a single narrative that
100%,
rises above the rest. Like the narratives are now. And I will say this: I love the idea of writing multiple essays in the
different
beginning.
versions
Right.
of the same essay at the by the
Or
end.
even multiple different
write them all
drafts,
out, yeah.
totally different.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, that's fair,
I'll tell my
that's
students
fair.
when we're exploring essay topics, sometimes
Explore
I'll tell
them, see where you
them
end
write
up.
like 6 to 8, whatever versions of your. See, I'm not saying 6. Okay, I almost said it. Okay.
Stop. All right. Uber. Can we get my Uber?
But you should write a bunch of different versions of your college essay at the outset while you're trying to make the topics compete with each other, which is fine for brainstorming. Once you're done brainstorming, then you got to go in and really refine one, and it should look dramatically different from the rest. And if it doesn't, you need to keep exploring topics.
Question for you. This is a hill that I will die on.
Sure.
So you have the final version.
Yeah.
How many people are you letting review that essay?
Oh, very few.
Okay.
Very few.
Okay.
Very few.
Okay.
Too many cooks in the kitchen is a real thing with college
I was
essays.
about to say that 1,000%. 1,000. I mean, I loved my final version. I worked with my college advisor at Pace University throughout my 4 years of high school.
That's awesome.
For this one essay.
Yeah.
And then my AP Lit teacher who didn't know us made it our first assignment was submit your college essay.
And they do a terrible job usually.
There was this one line that I had in my college essay that it was a very early stages. I came up with this line.
Yeah.
He circles it and he's like, my college advisor, and he's like, expand on this.
Oh my God.
I give her my essay, my AP Lit teacher. She circles it and says, cut this out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like it just, and bro, such bad advice. Like there really is a thing. And listen, I've reviewed thousands of college essays. I have a formula that I think works in my mind just for how to tell a good story. I'm not saying I know this will work to get into X, Y, and Z school. I'm not guaranteeing that. I can guarantee that I can help you tell your story better.
Sure.
But still, I always give students the caveat, like, disclaimer, this is what I think works.
Right.
And from my perspective, the essays I've written, how I choose to not only write stories, but how I read them. Like, 'cause a lot of these counselors are not going to remember the specifics of your essays, but they'll remember how it made them feel. And like you need to wrap up the story, and it needs to have a clear ending. But I tell them, I'm like, take everything I say with a grain of salt, because you can be told the exact opposite, but it's up to you to I don't know you. Like, I'm just giving you story tips.
Oh, 100%. No, there's 2 threads I want to pull on from what you just said there, which are really, really important. Like the first, of course, is you can't serve 2 masters. Right.
100%.
So like when you're writing your college essays, I actually, not only do I not recommend multiple people, I actually recommend maybe having one consistent person who you trust, who will be helping you work through all these essays to the best of your ability. Really try to keep it to one person. And keeping it to one person is really important, because then you'll get that, you can use that person as a sounding board for your blind spots. Reading your essay out loud to yourself can also be a proxy for that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So like if you don't have another person
Sounds
you can work with,
different,
no, it really does. Like you'll catch things that you didn't realize, and you'll feel a different way about your writing when you hear it spoken. So when I say speak, I mean like speak it loud. Right? So you really hear it spoken to yourself. So that I would recommend, because like you said, everybody's gonna have their own opinion. I'm gonna have my idea of how these essays look and how it makes me feel. Other people will do the same. Now, then the second question is, okay, so you're picking that one person, right? Okay. Almost never should you be picking your high school teachers. Right, and I'll tell you why. Because high school teachers, generally speaking, are good readers. They are not good writers. They don't have any experience writing. Yeah. Even your English teacher, who people think, oh, they're a better writer because they teach English. No, not really. Like they're mostly reading stuff. They pretty much never write that. High school teachers don't really write things. You know who actually writes things? Marketers, lawyers, people in business, 100%. Right? Like those are the kinds of people that you want to talk to, who actually have the job of persuading someone ever. Right? A salesperson, believe it or not, one of my clients actually, her dad sells luxury vehicles. And he gave us some really cool feedback on her essay, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah. So she read it to him, and he kind of gave her feedback as if it was like a sales pitch, which I thought was really insightful, and it was actually really helpful. I learned something from him too, which was really cool. Because his job is persuading people every day. Yeah. And so even though he's not an English teacher,
he knows what hits the marks.
He knows it because that's what you're doing with these essays. Like you're not writing an academic work, right? You're not writing an academic paper. You're actually trying to emotionally move someone.
Exactly.
So it's a different game. And so just, you got to keep that part in mind too.
Yeah.
So if you have those two, you limit your advisors and you make sure the person that's giving you the advice is a person who actually does persuasion for a living,
100%.
you're okay.
Guys, please don't send everyone your essays, please.
Yeah. And for the love of God, do not give college essay advice unless you have at least 20,000 followers on Instagram. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Amen.
If you can't get 20K on Instagram, I'm sorry, you do not have the marketing chops to give a college essay advice. It is.
If you can't persuade people online, how are you going to persuade them?
It's the exact same skill set.
100%. If anything, it's harder for the admissions room
by a lot because it's a much more limited audience. Yeah.
Okay, this one say my school doesn't offer HL math for the IBDP diploma. What should I do?
If your school
they don't offer it?
Yeah. So the question was, the school doesn't offer HL math for the IB diploma. What should I do? Take the math you have.
They don't offer it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to look more competitive in math, so you think that's like a missing point, then I don't know, do a math extracurricular or something.
Yeah, you could also supplement with classes either online or through community college. If you go on edX, there's actually a lot of free math classes. Math Academy is actually I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. So Math Academy is a really excellent AI-powered learning platform where you can learn really advanced math actually all the way through calculus. So if your goal is to just learn more math, I would actually go on Math Academy. It's really awesome. Cool. Get a subscription. It's worth the money and just learn there.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Okay, this one say research under and without PhD mentor if both result in peer review journals? ?
Okay, so the question was...
I will present in the Southern European Conference.
Oh,
okay. I'll present in the Southern European Conference. They're asking about like research with or without a PhD mentor. Is it still valuable as long as it does end up in a peer-reviewed journal? I'm going to question the type of journal you're talking about. So if for whatever reason you were able to do research independently as a high schooler and it gets published in an honest to God real adult journal, that's pretty awesome, right? That means you're doing like original work. That's different. So if you manage that, that's great. 99.9% of the time, they will not accept your work because there's no institution affiliated with it. There's no PhD affiliated with it. So they're not even going to like take the time to consider you seriously. So that's the first thing to know about. Now, as far as the mentor goes, again, you should get a mentor. Like mentors are great, not just because they train you, not just because they let you do real work, but also because they'll write you a letter of recommendation.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that helped me get into the colleges. I mean, like if I didn't have letters of rec from my mentor, I would have been in a mess. Yeah. So that's what you should do.
That's good advice.
He said, what about the new AP Business and AP Cybersecurity?
Oh, interesting. So they ask about our opinions about the new AP Business and new AP Cybersecurity. What do you think?
Listen, take anything that's gonna weight up that GPA, but some of them are getting a little crazy. The cybersecurity one actually sounds really interesting.
It does. Yeah. I think that'd be cool, especially if we were to prepare you for any kind of certifications within cybersecurity.
For sure.
That could be cool. Like maybe take your Net Plus or Security Plus after that. I don't know.
They're just getting like nicher and nicher.
Yeah, that I'm okay
Computer
with.
science.
Again, AP Business. Okay. I'm gonna vent a little bit.
Do it. I'm curious.
I have a problem with business majors. I have a problem. Okay. Here's my problem.
Tell me.
Okay. Imagine you're a business major in college, right? You're taking a business class. It's taught by a business professor. If that professor was actually good at business,
they'd be running a business.
Why are they teaching you?
Maybe if they did it like on the side or something.
Who? And I'm serious about that. Like, unless they have like some kind of bizarre medical condition that makes it impossible for them to run that anymore,
their business,
or like they're old maybe. But if they're old, then their advice is probably outdated. Yeah. So, again, I don't think business is one of those things that you could learn in college.
Teach.
No, because there are things that you can learn in college. Like for example, you go for an engineering degree, you will learn engineering. You actually can learn engineering.
Science will learn.
Yeah, you'll learn computer science, right? But if you're going to succeed in business, you need to be someone's apprentice. Yeah. Right. You need to go out in business, out to a real company where someone's actually doing the thing, and then go learn from the person actively executing. Right. Or you're stagnating. There's no in between, right? Like, I know this because I run a few businesses. I look at some of the curriculum. So one of my friends, she just finished her MBA program. I took a look at some of the stuff they're telling her to do in her marketing books. You'd laugh. Okay, bro. If you took me, you, like 5 other influencers, whatever, you put us in a room and we all just like flip through this book. I'm telling you, it'd be pure comedy. Okay, we just go chapter by chapter. They'd be like, "Oh, this works and this works." Like, no,
that's crazy.
And that
that's
works.
Crazy.
Like, and it's like some of the stuff that they tell them about like targeting audiences and what actually makes persuasive copy, and like it's like this is the dumbest, most incorrect stuff.
Right.
The reason is because the people who wrote this are academics who never had real world consequences for their stupid freaking ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Because like if you f up on a video, how do you know?
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Right. Real world feedback, immediate, hard feedback.
Oh, it's a hard
smacks you in the face.
Yeah. 100%.
There's no running away from it.
100%. But yeah, I get it. The practice of it all. I mean, I wouldn't trust. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it like with business professors, but I do feel like a lot of business professors have come from prior experience. But sure, if you know business so well, you can teach the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Again, what good is your prior experience? Because
if you didn't stay there, right?
No, because no, I don't even mean that. I mean business is competitive, right? The landscape is changing so fast.
It's not even the same.
Especially now. The landscape of everything is changing so fast. I don't care what weird strategy worked in the freaking 80s. Bro, like that doesn't... I just...
So it's not
one of my friends just made $100,000 last month on OpenClaw.
For real.
Okay, what is your 1980s freaking Chevron oil strategy have to teach me about that? Sorry.
Right.
Like you genuinely don't have a clue.
For real.
So, like, I don't know, real world or whatever. All right, I don't know. I'm gonna piss off too many people. Let's keep going.
That was so good. Clip them.
This one says, should I do research with a mentor for finance?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna give me a freaking aneurysm.
Why not have mentors?
I think you should have a mentor for research. I think doing research in finance is freaking hilarious.
Research in finance? I thought it was mentor in finance.
No. He said a research mentor for a finance project. Yes. I'm just okay. See, you're laughing for the same reason. It's like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, academics do not have a place in finance. Okay, if you are good at finance, you would go do finance and make millions of dollars. They have no patience for you. There's nobody doing...
No one's going to tell you these things. Genuinely, no one's going to be honest with you.
I'm just being honest. No one talented in finance is doing research in finance. I'm sorry. If you're actually talented in finance, you are printing cash. Okay? And they are not spending a second on your high school butt. I'm sorry. Okay? It's just a fact. Move on. Try something else.
It's valid.
I want to do a BS genetics. So as a international from Pakistan, do I get into Stanford? Oh, how do I get to Stanford? I got rejected from it. Should I apply again or transfer?
Oh, this is a great question. So this is a student from Pakistan. He applied to college of cycle, got rejected, really wants to get into Stanford, wants to know what he should do post-rejection. What are his options after that?
BS in genetics?
If that's what he wants. He wants to get a bachelor's of science in genetics. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you got rejected from Stanford, are you applying again to Stanford?
I mean, probably. You could. Either as a transfer or after a gap year. You have some options. I mean, it depends on what you're hoping to do. I mean, generally speaking, transfer is better. My suggestion would be if you got into any college in the U.S., come to the U.S., get yourself over here. Definitely, don't stay in Pakistan if you can avoid it.
So I forgot that piece. So he was rejected from his high school in Pakistan.
Okay, so he's in Pakistan, applied to college.
Would have better odds if he already gone to a school in the U.S., transferred from a U.S. institution to Stanford.
Yeah, he's just asking what his options are in general.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that would be one of them. Yeah. I think I would. My top priority in that case would be get yourself to America if you can.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. Let's do one more.
The one for finance have follow-up. What? Oh, you want me to move on?
Run. That was fun. What death threat came in?
What is significance for having a business with 100K revenue aim at the impact in communities?
Oh, that's a good question. So what is the admissions impact of having a business with $100,000 in revenue while you're in high school?
I mean, and do you want to do business?
Yeah.
Do you want to do finance?
It's good. Right.
No,
So
it's great.
Yeah, it's a good thing to run a business in high school. I think it teaches you a lot of valuable skills. You can have some good stories. The one thing I'm going to caution you on is that the fact that your business made a bunch of money does not mean anything to an admissions officer. They're not impressed by the money. They're impressed, if they are impressed, by what you do with the money and who you're helping with the business.
And what the business entails, like
Exactly. They want the business to have some kind of social impact.
100%.
Can I get a 1430 SAT with a 780 math with a good predict IB score 38 plus? Give me a real chance in getting to Georgetown or Berkeley or UPenn.
So
780 math.
the person has 780 math,
But what's a
1430 SAT. It means your English sucks.
Yeah, that's what that means.
Realistically, very low chances, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
For Georgetown and where?
Berkeley.
Berkeley.
Higher for Berkeley. Oh, UPenn very low. So just to be honest, like if your English is that low where you have
Like 1430 minus 780, it's 50.
it's like 600. So like so it means like you're way below 700 on your reading and writing. That just means your English isn't good. You're probably not a native English speaker, if I had to guess. You should fix that. Right, if you're going to college, can I tell you that's one of my frustrations I have sometimes with students from outside the U.S. where, like, if you're going to come to an American college where the primary language of instruction is English, you should actually learn English before you get here. And I see this very often, especially with very wealthy international students, especially from China, that will come to the U.S. and they will not speak a lick of English. And they don't care. And they're like one of these kids, I'll never forget, it was the funniest thing. He was at my college. I forget his name, but he used to come to my class. I used to lecture sometimes for some classes at Stony Brook. Yeah, I used to teach some stats classes. And this kid used to come in all the time. He used to roll up in a Lambo. In a super dry
a bunch of those.
coat. Yeah, always the super dry puffer vest and a Lambo. Literally a Lambo. Okay, comes in, goofs off in the class and leaves. And the only reason he did that, I think, is because like his parents must have paid one of the kids to tell him if he showed up or something, right? And I caught him cheating twice on assignments. And this is a super common thing with a lot of the same category of kids, and like it's rough. And I had to call him out, and I failed him for a couple of the homework assignments, and he was lucky that's all I did. I didn't report it more broadly to the university. But the reason I'm saying this is because I ended up talking to him, and so I tried to talk to him about it and to explain to him, like, hey, like you shouldn't be doing this, like you should be paying attention to the class, whatever. He didn't understand a word I was saying. He had to have like a little translator app into Chinese for the entire conversation. And I'm like, oh yeah, no kidding, you're cheating on the exam. You can't understand a damn thing going on here. You have no idea what's happening here. What are you even doing here?
Well, and that does happen a lot more than people think. But
because they cheat on the TOEFL exams. You know that. So they have these English exams you're supposed to take before IELTS or TOEFL, and they cheat on those exams. And then after they cheat on those exams, then they come to the U.S. and they attend these classes and they cheat in the classes. And now with the AI stuff, it's become I can't imagine what it's like teaching right now.
Yeah,
it must be so bad now.
God forbid I see another M-dash, bro.
It's crazy, but yeah. So all this is to say, I don't even know where the question was. I forgot about it at this point.
Well,
learn English.
I'll get better at English. It was the SAT score.
That was Berkeley. Low SAT score. Yeah, learn English.
So now I see a lot of comments. They say like, if they cannot get past a certain score in the SAT, how can they improve?
Well, there's programs like Khan Academy, and there's specific things that will actually like take your Wiz. Guys, go on Wiz right now. But like takes exactly what you're doing and then pinpoints all the points that you're like really struggling with, and then just keep hammering those. Like if you're already good at a section, if I had a 780 math and I was trying to improve my score, I wouldn't be studying math. Like just keep drilling the pieces, because those little questions like really do make the difference, and your score will jump.
There's so much good material out there. So I wouldn't stress about it.
Tap into Wiz.
And Youssef, thank you so much,
bro. I love you so much, man.
Likewise, man.
I'll be back
anytime
after the following weekend. The next weekend I'll be co-hosting. We have a little game going on.
He's gonna move in at this point.
See this sofa?
Right.
That's his bed because I'm taking the master.
All right, we're all good.